Hey, good morning, House of Nerds show. How y'all doing today? This is Marklin Sigler. I am in again. I know y'all hadn't seen me since I did the show probably Sunday before last. So let me kind of go ahead and tell you the news. So we were going to do an exclusive interview with the Blue Flame creative team. Exclusive. I mean, I had the questions. I went and reread everything because, I read the Blue Flame as a single issue, month after month. And then, Sergio's like, we're going to have them on the show. I'm like, oh, snap. I follow the writers. So I am a fan of Christopher Cantwell. And, actually the art is phenomenal, Blue Flame as well. So I was like, okay. And Sergio's like, you need to go back and reread the trade. I was actually in the process of rereading the trade, logged on to do this broadcast, and I saw that Sergio is having some family issues. So keep Sergio in your prayers. It's nothing bad, but Sergio has some family. And of course, as much as we love comics, House of Nerd, and all that other stuff, family has to come first. And he's like, "Hey, I had to cancel the Blue Flame interview, so of course I'm seeing this as I'm logging in to do the show today." So I'm like, "Oh well." Okay, well, I already blocked up my schedule to do the show, so let's just do the show anyway. And that was an option. He did send it to me and Oscar as well. Like, hey, we can do the alternate show about the Blue Flame, but I was relying on Sergio to set tone for it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep this man's ongoing streak going. So I know I did reach out to Ruben, and if you see this, feel free to jump in. Elle, if you see this, feel free to jump in because I think I tried to reach out to you as well. But you know what? In the meantime, we just don't go with it. So this is the House of Nerd show. We're going to keep Sergio streak of not missing a Sunday ongoing for right now. This show may not be as long as it normally is because I didn't actually plan on doing it by myself. When I have a plan to do it by myself, I kind of work out my own agenda and whatnot. But it's all good. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to see what the comments are today. And I see one from Color with Kurt. You can't get rid of me and we need to reschedule soon. So, and wait. What is this right here? I think I didn't pre-order one already, the Blue Flame. And then I see Color with Kurt. Hey, Color with Kurt. And I see Blue Flame. Sorry for the last minute change. It happens, Michael Feeney. It happens. So, but I'm a comic book guy. I'm a comic book, let's kind of get into this. My loves are comic books, sci-fi, food, and I'm a heterosexual man, so women. So we're not gonna talk about women because I got a girlfriend. So that ain't gonna happen on today's show. We can talk about food, but that's a whole different topic. So I think sci-fi and comic books fit into the House of Nerd more than anything else. And who was that? Is that Keisha? I'm putting up a fence right now, but I'm here to support everyone. See, Keisha, I'd have brought you in too, because I know we would have chopped it up. So we gonna do the thing. So all right. I guess the worst case scenario, what we can talk about right now is the reviews for this week. So I watch a lot of different shows on the internet as well. And that's how that led me to discovering the House of Nerd. So one of my favorite shows does was Blur Without Fear, excellent YouTube channel. If you get a chance to check it out. Actually a member on there as well. And I was actually thinking about talking about Sergio to really show you guys support for House of Nerd. We may start a membership on this YouTube channel as well. But one thing they do on there is they do a weekly review of all the comics. And they do a show on Saturday called The Blurred, which is excellent. And for those you don't know, Blurred stands for I don't say stands for, but I guess it was a euphemism for Black nerd. So and you know what? Oh, Ruben said he's going to come in about 15 minutes. So yeah, Ruben, that works. I'm going to reply back to him. That works. So y'all got to see me looking down, replying back to somebody. That works. And Elle, if you want to come in, I'm not sure what you're doing with your family or you're working or something like that, feel free to come in as well. So Ruben is going to come in, and Ruben, I reached Ruben specifically because Ruben reached out to me on Twitter about a comic book this week and said, did you see this? And it's the last time Ruben and I did the show together. We talked about that comic book in particular. So I'm interested to get him in here in 15 minutes to see what it's going to look like. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you guys about what I bought this week, and back in the day, when I first started getting, with some background about myself as well. So for those of you how we're feeling time, I'm going to entertain y'all about my story. All right. So I started reading comic books, and Sergio did an interview. Sergio and Elle, or maybe Sergio by himself, did an interview with me last year. You probably could find it in the archives. about how I got started reading comic books. Let me tell you that to bring you up to the point. So I'm gonna do a macro to a micro. All right, so here's the deal. I was probably 4, 5 years old the first time I saw a comic book. And my family, my father, and my parents were still married at that time. He used to read comic books. And I think he was in the Navy at that time. So I was 4 or 5 years old. And we were living in Charleston, South Carolina. So I was playing this room, doing stuff that bad kids do. I was hyperactive before they started prescribing Ritalin and all that stuff. I was playing this room and I saw a comic book. And I think I mentioned this last week, the last show I did. And it was like an issue of New Mutants. And I was like, what is this? And I think I mentioned, I said it was like the issue where the New Mutants were fighting the Brood. And it blew my mind. It didn't scare me, but it blew my mind, though. So fast forward to probably like I'm 6 or 7, 8, maybe. I feel like, well, no, I had to be younger than that, like 6 or 7. So once my folks, my parents got divorced, and I ended up moving back home to Alabama with my grandparents. My mother and I moved back with the home with grandparents. And I think my grandfather, he figured out I like what he called the funny books. He was old school. They're like, they weren't comic books. They were the funny books. Because, he grew up when it was Archie and all that kind of stuff. So that's how it was. And he would buy them from the drugstore. So at this time that, I didn't, maybe specialty comic book stores existed, but not in Alabama at that time. We would go to a grocery store called Food World, which is no longer in business. We would go to Walmart, which of course is still in business. And we go to a drugstore called B, which got bought by Revco, which got bought by CVS. So technically it's still in business. And he buy comic books for me every week. But I don't think I got hooked until my father got me a copy of Uncanny X-Men 227. Is the conclusion to the Fallen Mutants. That was the book where I was like, I knew Wolverine was my favorite character. I knew this art by Mark. I knew it was Mark Silvestri was it. Chris Claremont was my writer. That's when I got hooked on comic books. So fast forward all these years, and I think I may have said this in the show I did with Surgery before too. I basically bought comic books at least once a week my entire life until I got to high school. And wait, hold on, I'm sorry. What did Michael say? I'm laughing at the comment. I'm going to bring funny books back when I'm a comic book to see how the employees react. Do that and see. Because I swear my granddaddy never called them comic books. He always called them funny books, Michael. I promise you he did. He always called them funny books. So I basically bought comic books once a week. I didn't even know about really Comic Book Wednesday at that time. I just bought them once a week, because I think I got my allowance on Friday. And I would go to the store with my granddad. He would go shopping on Friday, and that's when I buy my comic books. Until I got to high school and I started driving. And I jokingly say this, I made the worst mistake of my life. Because remember the 4 things I named I love? Comic books, sci-fi, food, and women. Well, women really were big. And I had a job, I had a car, and I had to make a decision. I could spend my money trying to date women, which includes, getting the car, getting gas, paying insurance, because I had to pay my car note. I don't think I had to pay my insurance, but I did have to pay my car note. Or I could keep spending my money on combos. At that point, combos were going up in price. Y'all think combos are more expensive now. You got to realize when I first started, I might be dating myself, but they were like 75 cents, 85 cents, $1. They were $1 like forever when I was a kid. Then $1.15, $1.25, $1.50. And all this was happening. I was like, man, I'm going to give up these combos. I want to chase women. And I think I got a girlfriend. I think I dated this one girl, but I ended up getting a girlfriend. So we were going out every week too. So y'all know that's where my money was going. And I quit. And of course, this girl and I broke up. Great girl. We're actually still friends now. So I say, hey, Laquita, if you see this, hey, Laquita. But we broke up. And the first thing I did, it was like by my sophomore year of college. I was like, you know what? I made a mistake. I should have never gave up comic books. Comic books would never betray me. Comic books would never leave me. Comic books would never upset me. I should stay with comic books. I jokingly said that, but really, when I was in college, and I went to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. I was surrounded by black men. That was the first time I had seen that many black men who were into comic books as much as I was. And it just kind of reignited something. Oh, you don't know about this, and you don't know about that. And we were sitting in the lounge in the dorm talking about comics for hours. I had never experienced that in my life, because I'm sure some of you guys know being a nerd may be considered cool now due to things like, the success of San Diego Comic-Con or, the Big Bang Theory. But back then, being a nerd, especially a black nerd, was not necessarily the coolest thing to be, And, Steve Urkel, for good or bad, made it worse. Because, I can't tell you how many, because I was a tall black kid who wore glasses. Of course, I got called Urkel. And, to this day, I understand what Jaleel White is like. If y'all ever catch me trying to play that role again, shoot me in the head then. He's apologized for that, but I understand why. Because, the things that are said to nerds and black nerds as well are very hurtful. So, but now there's this celebrated love of the culture, and I'm here for it. So I got back in the comic books my sophomore year in college, Morehouse College in Atlanta. And Atlanta had, Atlanta's a great comic book city. Of course, for you guys know, Dragon Con. I used to attend, my mom took me to Dragon Con when I was a kid. Because she just, I don't know why she did it. She used to do albums and stuff with me then, back now my mother probably not do it. Hey, mama, be watching this. Because my mama is a devout Christian, so she will probably not do it now. And some of the things I probably saw or exposed to probably didn't fit her definition of Christianity. But, I went into devil worship or nothing like that, But, my mother has very anti-magic, sorcery, anything like that now. So, and my siblings would tell you, oh, there's magic. Mama ain't gonna like it. Nothing like that. And, of course, some comic books contain magic. And I think, out of deference to her, like I had some Doctor Strange comic books I probably threw away because, I knew they may have made my mother feel uncomfortable, because of her, her strong Christian beliefs and being anti-magic. So being in Atlanta, reading comic books, going to Dragon Con, my stores in Atlanta, I used to have stores all over the place. The main store, if you're ever in the Atlanta area, I recommend you go to this local comic store, Oxford Games and Comics on Piedmont Road. To this day, whenever I go back to Atlanta, I probably always stop at Oxford Games and Comics. They have been a mainstay for, I don't know, close to 50 years. Have a great selection of everything nerd related. I mean, their comics are first and foremost. But they have a selection of anime, videos, stuff you've never even seen or heard of. They have a great collection. That was my primary store. The comic company up in North DeKalb, that was my secondary store. That actually became my primary store. That was where I had one of my first really good pull lists up there in Atlanta. And then it was a Titan Games and Comics in Atlanta I used to go to all the time in Riverdale Road. So Atlanta's a great comic city. And then, of course, eventually I moved back to Birmingham. And that, Legion here in Birmingham off of Highway 280, probably one of the best comic stores I've ever seen in my life. Stan, I want to shout you out. If you ever see this video, next time I see you, I'm going to tell you to look at it. But when I came back to town, that was one of the best stores I'd ever went to. Because, if you're looking for any kind of back issue or trade, his trade collection is top notch. Stan probably has it, or if he doesn't have it, he can get it for you, And today, wait, hold up. Let me see what Michael's saying. Sorry to hear that, kid. So, Urkel was indeed ignoring I was a Carl Winslow guy. And I'm going to tell you something, Michael. The weird thing about this is now, man, my father watches Family Matters every morning because I do a lot of remote work in between my various gigs and stuff like that. So I have a workstation set up at the house that we live in, and I hear him watching Family Matters every morning. So I get it. Family Matters is one of the classic black shows. It is a wholesome black show that showed a loving black family. So I'm always giving this props for that. And so I was talking about, the current comic store. Oh, current comic store is now Sanctum Tattoos and Comics, also in Birmingham on 4th Avenue South. I love that shop because that's what got me really into independent comics. One of the reasons Sergio started reaching out to me because he would see me post my pulls for New Comic Book Day. He said, man, you have an excellent mix of mainstream Marvel and DC but independent books. And I owe that to the staff at Sanctum Comics, Wes and Aaron. So basically it's a comic store in the front and a tattoo shop in the back, but they have an excellent mix of independent comics. And that's what got me on. Oh, I see Cookie's in here now. Let me say, well, there you go. There you go, Cookie. What's up, Cookie? How you doing? I should have asked you to come on, Cookie. I just realized you're on the Slack now, too. So, if you want to come on, Cookie, let me know. I'll let you on. We'll chop it up, but I just didn't want Sergio to break his streak because of what happened. That's the bad. He just got to take care of some family stuff. So, Back when I was still in Atlanta, though, I started doing this thing called ranking the week. And this is a long story because I'm filling time to Ruben or whoever's going to jump in. We can really chop it up and do a direct conversation. But I used to do this thing called ranking the week of what we thought about comics we bought. And even then, like a lot of the guys you saw on the show I did about 2 weeks ago, they were on that email, and when we go through and say, here's what I bought and here's what I thought we'd rank the week, comic number 10 up to comic number 1. And I'll write a little mini synopsis of it as well. Which reminds me, guys, check out, I'm going to see if I can find the banner for it. I didn't do this. Well, let me set this banner first of all. That should have been running. So first of all, I want you guys, and I'm looking for one in particular. Here it is. Nope, that's the House of Nerds Show Network. So I'm still on. Well, the one I was looking for in particular, which I don't see right now, is the House of Nerds Show.com. Check out the website. There's some excellent content on the website. I am actually working on my first article for the website. I did my first review, y'all. So this ties into my first review. I got my first, review copy. I read it. I started writing, and I'm like, this sucks. So I'm having to go back to high school English. Like, I need to do a 5-paragraph essay. Like, here's the start. Here are the 3 points I want to emphasize, and here's the conclusion of why this book is good. The book is good. And I'm going to tell you what it was. It was the Thorn from Advent Comics. That's the one I did. It is a great final order cutoff was last Monday. So, but still, I think it's Advent Comics, the Thorn. I definitely enjoyed that. That was a great read. I will probably add it to my pull list. I'm telling y'all to do it, and I forgot to do it my dang self for the holiday. I need to call my comic book store and let them know that I need to add it to my pull list. But we're doing ranking the week. So, and like I said, but if you're interested in seeing reviews, go to houseofnerdshow.com. That is the official website for the House of Nerds Show. We have tons of content on there, lots of great articles. Oscar has a great staff for that website. And we're always looking for more writers as well. So if you like comic books and like to review stuff, check it out. Hey, color. I'm sorry, I got distracted for a second. Yeah, because usually somebody else is, and I'm usually the one kind of in the comments, and Sergio's talking. Hey, K-pop under junkies, what's up? So cool. So, ranking the week. So for those of you, and I'm on Twitter, it's Marklin Sigler. That's what I usually primarily post the books I buy for New Comic Book Day. I actually enjoy replying to other people's posts about New Comic Book Day more than I like posting mine, because I like to see what other people get. Because usually there are people who get stuff I always miss. And I've noticed this. I don't know if y'all have noticed this as well, that different parts of the country get comic books at different times. And I've heard this news about the distribution system. Matter of fact, does anybody know what's going on in the distribution system? I've heard, I know DC stuff comes out on Tuesday now. My comic book store does not sell it till Wednesday, but I know it comes out on Tuesday because I see people posting that. I know people get online on Tuesday as well. I see Ruben. I see you on, Ruben. But you got to come in the back. You got to come in the backside, bro. You got to come in the backside so I can add you in. And of course, I can't send you the link. Or can I? I had to figure that out. But then I'm hearing stories that Image may start coming out on Tuesday as well. So does anybody know the story behind that? I hadn't really had a chance to check it out. But I know something's going with Diamond, and people are switching around and whatnot. But I don't know the story about it. So if anybody has a story and they want to put it in the chat, feel free to do that, because I would like to know more about that. But like I said, when I usually go on Twitter, I usually go on to post about the books. I prefer to be other people. That's how I actually met Dragon Ranger too, because this dude, his pulls are always fantastic. And I usually I matched you here, or something like that, or you asked me for the one link, Ruben. Okay, I see that now. Give me a second. I may be able to find it for you. Let's see. I'll see if I can find it for you, Ruben. So give me a few. But like I was talking about, the picks and stuff like that. So let me see. Wait, I almost found it for you, Ruben. I was talking about the picks of the week. I was actually trying to see. That's how I met Dragon, because he used to do his picks like that all the time. I think I may have found it for you, Ruben. I'm trying to get it over to you now, man. Let's see. Sorry about that, but this is like what it's like doing a live show. So anyway, that's how I met Dragon, and his picks are always phenomenal. So if you guys ever get a chance to, if you don't follow Dragon, and then Dragon Ranger Prime is what he goes by on Twitter. Real name is Charles. Go ahead and do that. And yep, Dragon Ranger 9. So his Twitter name is Dragon Prime, but he goes by Dragon Ranger 9. And he usually posts his on TikTok and then reposts a TikTok on Twitter now. Okay, so here's what I got this week. And you have Dragon. Wait a minute. What did you say, Cookie? You and Dragon are the best pools. Oh, Cookie, you just warm my heart with that, man. But, you know, I spend too much, but I do love what I do. But Dragon surpassing me because he really isn't a great amount of indie stuff. So here's what I got this week. And like I said, Ruben, I sent you the link on Twitter. So hopefully that'll allow you to get in. I got Justice Society America #4 from DC Comics. I got Fury #1, celebrated 6 years of Nick Fury by Marvel. Extreme Venomverse #2 from Marvel. Superman #4 from DC. Doom Patrol 3 of 6 from DC. And stop by to say good morning, clock in work. Hey, what's up, Carlos? Appreciate you stopping by, my man. Let's see, Action Comics. Dang, Action Comics 1055 from DC. I didn't realize Action Comics had gone that long. I mean, I realized it intellectually. I just looked at it. Damn, that's a high-ass number. Let's see. All 8 Eyes #2 from Dark Horse Comics. Green Arrow #2 from DC. Hera #4 from Boom Comics. Vanish #7 from Image Comics. Static 4 DC Milestone imprint. Time After Time Image Comics. And that's Time After Time #23. Storm from Marvel. She-Hulk 13 from Marvel. Thor 34 from Marvel. Star Wars Darth Vader Black, Red, and White from Marvel. Titans. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Titans because Titans on the cover. Nightwing issue 104 from DC. And Exo Man of War Unconquered #3 from Valiant. So I did have a good mix of stuff in here. So you see, I got a lot of Marvel and DC, but I got some Image, some Boom, Valiant in here as well. And Dark Horse. Okay. So yeah. So I actually got a good mix of stuff. So let me just check on Ruben real quick, y'all. See if he got that link. And now we're gonna keep it going. So he says he saw it. Okay. Well, it says seen. So here's where I am on ranking the week so far. What I thought was the best so far. And Phil, Carlos Alvarez, the Blue Flame. Let me just highlight that. So yeah, so we were supposed to do a show on the Blue Frame, Carlos. I'm not sure if you came in late to see it, but Sergio had to take care of some family business, and that interview then canceled. And he said you can do an unaltered show. And I said, well, I was already here because I normally go to church on Sunday, but I went to church on Friday, which is why I missed the live stream on Friday. And I said, well, since I'm already here, I will go ahead and do it because I don't want Sergio to lose his stream. This is episode 111, y'all. This man has done this 111 Sundays, man. That's a lot. And I don't want this man to lose his streak of the show, consistent the show, because the show is blowing up, the website is showing up. I will do my part to support it, man, so it's all good. And I don't see you yet. Ruben asked me, can I let him in? I don't see him. Hang on one sec, y'all. Checking now. I'm checking now, Ruben, if you're still watching live. Because usually the link just gets me in. Let me try this, Ruben. Hell, that's not going to work, though. Hang on, y'all. Like I said, this is the beauty of doing a live show. Sometimes And we're not the one. At least I'm not the one that does all this on the background. I'm getting better at it, though, as you saw from the show I did by myself. But I still had to kind of bring myself up to date on everything and play around with it at the same time. So let's see. Ruben, I'm going to try and send you another link directly from the StreamYard and see if that works. And last time me and Ruben was here, remember what happened? Sergio came in and he ended the show inadvertently. That's how we had a part 2. So I'm going to try this, Ruben. Because I don't see where you're trying to come in. So I'm going to try this link. Although it looks like the same thing I sent you already. I think it is. But I just sent that directly from the StreamYard. Because I should see you at the bottom trying to come in. Oh, damn. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what it was, man. So I was like, yeah, I just want to keep it going, Carlos. I appreciate you saying that, man. But, I did start reading Blue Flame again. And I will say this much. It reads much better as a trade. And some books do that. Some books definitely do that. Oh, there you are. All right. Hang on a sec, Ruben. I'm going to get you in here, bro. Add to the stream. What's up, my guy? I can hear you. Can you hear me? I hear you. No, I don't. I see you, but I don't hear you.
I see you.
All right, I hear you now.
Hear you, but you're frozen now.
That's your system. That's your system. So let me try this.
I heard that. Am I on by myself? What's up, y'all? It's a beautiful morning over here in West Texas. I need coffee. But I am here and I'm ready to talk some books, especially ready to talk about The Copper Drop. We haven't gotten here yet, but I'm really excited to talk about this one. I'm ready because I read it and I was going to read it. I was subscribed to it already. I like Greg Pak and I like Pak. And I like these books that they're doing. Picked up this. And the Vigil was cool too. But yeah, this book was, I questioned it. I was like, is this going to be good? Is it not? Duo, Greg Pak came out with a book that I talked about on the show last year. And Duo by Greg Pak, it was Milestone, but it was like its own thing. So not really lumped in with like Icon, Hardware, Static. It was Milestone, but it was like its own. It might have been on Another Earth, but that was cool. It was just very out there. What's up, Marklin?
All right, can you hear me now?
Man.
So you still can't hear me.
You're frozen? Man, is this a me thing? Is it my? I mean,
it's you phone, because it only happens with you. It only happens with you.
Right, I see you laughing, but I don't hear you laughing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me see.
The static image is cracking me up. Ironically, because you're laughing.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's try it again.
Okay, your facial expression changed slightly.
Let me try something else. All right, I'm gonna try it again.
I wonder if turning off my camera will help. I wish I knew about that though, because my profile pic is just a custom avatar.
Is it working for you now? So can you hear me? Can you hear me and see me now?
Man, Marklin, I don't know what the deal is. You keep fading in and out.
Man, and I don't want to have to end the show to do this. So let's see. Well, you're in here, so I should be able to come out and come back in. Let me try that. Let me try that. And I promise y'all,
I heard.
this
Let me
is gonna
try
be
that.
famous for years from now. They're like, oh man, these guys are working it out in real time. So give me 1 sec. I'm gonna try and go out the studio and come back in, and we'll do it from there. Let's see. Good. 1 second. I need to go ahead and check these comments too.
What they say?
Hi, Ruben.
Hey, Cookie. Yeah, I wish I was on the cool side to look at comments, to blow them up. I've never done that.
Joe Lee's comments can't stay, but drop
Hey,
in to say
Joe.
hi.
Hi, bye.
Funny because you guys both look and sound normal on our end.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny. I hope it's like that for everybody, and not just you, Ian, Joey.
Yeah, I
Ian
mean, because
parentheses Joey.
I hear you fine, Ruben. I hear you fine, but I think last time I had to take my camera off.
I mean, I
So,
wish we could make that work, but I can't hear Marklin at all right now.
all right,
Oh, I
let me
see
try.
him.
You
I
see
see
me?
you. I hear you.
All right. So let's try this.
And there you go.
Let's try.
Oh, big sigh.
Okay, what about now?
You ready for your close-up, I see.
What about now? You're both normal for me. So you still can't hear me, Ruben. All
Hey,
right.
Marklin, let me try. I'm gonna try and leave, and I'll come back.
Okay, gotcha. Well, now you're both big. We have all kinds of fun around here, boy. I promise you, we do. We're working this out live in real time, But he's gonna try and come back in because I'm actually watching the show on my iPad as well, so I could hear both of us and see both of us as well. But something goes on with Ruben, and I'm just playing with him. But I'm like, whenever he comes in, he can't see or hear me. I think last time what I had to do, I had to take my camera off, so it just go audio only, so he could hear me. So we may have to do that this time when he comes back in. But y'all see, he came in straight talking about them comic books, boy. So while I'm waiting for him to try and come back in, I guess we'll go back to talk about what I got of the week. Oh, that's what I was saying. So my number one this week so far is just Society of America number 4. No, it's not. It's not. What am I talking about? That's why I wanted Ruben to come in specifically. My number of the week is Static number 4. Ruben hit me up on Twitter, was like, have you read this yet? I'm like, I'm gonna read it today. I read it the next day. I'm like, you're absolutely right. That issue will fire. Fire. In fact, everybody I know is talking about this issue. They're like, man, this is the whole. I watched the Blurred Cave yesterday. They were talking about this, and man, this series is so much better than the first series of Static. And this issue just elevated to a whole nother level. So that's my number one pick right there. And I want Ruben to come in so he can talk about it as well. All right, so I see he's coming back in. Hopefully this will work. I'm adding him to the stream now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
If you're talking, I can't hear.
All right. I'm gonna leave.
I was this close to greatness.
I know. I'm gonna leave and come back in without a camera and see if that works. Okay, so you can put your camera back on.
I heard, see if that works, and okay, then you fade it out.
All right, so let's let me leave the studio, and I'm gonna come back in. Wait, hold up. You see that, Ruben?
I'm seeing this, Ian.
Look, thank you, Ian. We appreciate that. Because like I said, this is my first time working on StreamYard, so we're gonna learn about doing it.
Check. I'm in settings and it looks like it picked AirPods, which is what I'm on.
He's a good luck. 35 minutes into this, but we good. Now, Ruben, are you on your laptop? Because I'm on my laptop and I don't even have any, headphones or.
No, I'm on my phone.
That could be what it is. So let me try. Well, you heard me then. Do you hear me now?
See me.
Yeah, I see you. I see you good. All right, let me leave. I'm gonna come back in. So I'm gonna leave now. Leave.
Now, why you gotta do all this? Put me on blast on the camera. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, so this works. Okay.
Wait, what'd you do?
I took I left the studio. I went out and I stopped my camera.
Well, damn, I just lost you.
Ah, hell. All right.
Okay.
So
Are we gonna do a headless show?
No, I mean we could turn the camera on. Wait.
Oh, I can't. I don't hear you
But can you hear me?
This is so sad. We have the potential to do a great show, but
No.
technology just doesn't like us. I hear you. I hear you now.
Okay, so if you hear me now, we can go ahead and do it.
Like you faded after the word now. It was like digital. If you hear me after now,
okay, all right. Well, we'll rock with that. So
hey, let's like maybe like real quick, we could knock out Copper Drop.
Okay, go ahead and do Copper Drop. Because the selection was was City Boy, wasn't it?
I can't hear it. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, what were you? You were just doing what?
Yeah, I said the selection is City Boy for Copper Drop. That was what won last time. That's what L told me.
Did you get to read it?
I flipped through it. So did you actually read it? Because I can talk about it, but
I don't know. I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, I can talk about it.
Okay, and then whenever, just try to let me know whenever it's like my turn, and I can do my spew because apparently all the listeners can hear and see us. Okay, so we'll try to make this work.
Yeah, you can go ahead. You can go ahead because I don't have too much to say on it. So I want to hear your spill on it. Go ahead and start. You start.
Oh, you want me to start? Okay, I didn't hear it. So City Boy. Yep. So this was, so like I was saying earlier, I was very, I like Greg Pak or Pak. I don't know which one. I haven't read a lot from him. When people mention him, they automatically think Incredible Hulk because he has a huge. I think he has I think his run to the Hulk went into like the triple digits, maybe. But I don't know. Just kind of had this like little gut feeling, like, man, am I gonna like this? Is it gonna be good? Like, I don't want to just collect it just to collect it, but the premise was interesting, but it also we hadn't really seen it before. It seems like something you would see in like an anime. But I picked it up and I read it, and his powers are so much deeper than just communicating to cities. It's I really like how he's like the world's like greatest like item finder. Like he can find just all the things, like all little things for that are of worth, and he can sell them because he's basically homeless in a way. And what I liked, we could talk. Yeah, we're talking spoilers. I like his ability was also like to travel through cities, like through the shadows or through like little dimension, little portals. I thought that was super cool. I didn't, you just like don't put two and two together. Like you can communicate to the city, but you can also like travel to the city. I just, a little bit like a added bonus little powers abilities. But I really liked it. I like how he wasn't. I'm really liking these books about heroes where they don't just automatically act like heroes. It's not like a little hero's journey kind of thing. He's kind of like struggling in life, trying to find himself, trying to find asylum or not asylum, but like just find a home in a city where he can speak to. I mean, he can speak to any city, but yeah. What do you think? Like, I'm trying to put my finger on it. He's like homeless and kind of drifting, trying to find something in life. And then he's the kind of guy who's super chill and doesn't really go out looking for trouble, but the trouble finds him, unfortunately, because of his ability. And I don't know if we want to talk about the very ending, but I did not expect who to show up like right out of the floodgates. Like, I don't know, like out of all the big bads in DC things, but yeah, we had a big guy show up, and so, but Intergang showing up that made a lot of sense. Excuse me. I didn't want you to hear my ugly sneeze, but yeah. So overall, I really liked it. I think it was super fun. It makes me interested for what's to come. Like, what's the rest of the series going to look like? Um, yeah, that's don't want to talk too much, like ramble on, but like I really liked it. I am easily going to keep on subscribing to it, and it was a whole lot of fun. So yeah, what do you think, Mark?
I'm typing my comments as well. Do you see them?
Oh,
Like that last page reveal was interesting.
oh, okay. Yeah, that was like a just came out of nowhere, like right off the bat. We're gonna get like big bad um, versus somebody else like Luther or uh, I mean, even Intergang would have been appropriate because it's a bunch of like intergalactic thieves. But yeah, I'm excited.
I liked it. I like the concept behind it, but I may wait
Are you
for the
typing your
trade.
comments because like in case I can't hear you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna type the comments. I liked it and the concept behind it. Uh, but it may be a trade for me. But I may wait for the trade.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I mean,
It didn't sell you?
I always give everything a number two. I give things to like the second issue to like really sink in. You know, but I kept feeling like I've seen this before. I've seen this with Danny the Street from Doom Patrol. I've seen this from
That's
Jack
different.
Osborne. It is, but it's still the same. It's kind of sort of the same
I
concept.
see what you're
I've seen
saying.
it
I
with
see the connection, though, of
Jack
course.
Hawksmoor from Authority. I talk to cities. I'm like, what is this guy? Is he the city elemental? That's what I was thinking. He's a city elemental. Is that what he is? From like Hulk, not Hulkman, Swamp Thing. You had an avatar of the ride, an avatar of the wind, of the air, an avatar of this, an avatar of that. So is he the avatar of cities? So I want to see what happens in the second issue because that last page reveal with that villain is what caught me. I said, okay, I'm not gonna buy this, and I have DC. I have DC Infinite, so I read it. So I actually reread it on DC Infinite this morning. I said, but
It's
if
pretty
that
clutch.
second issue is fire, I'm gonna start collecting it. That's where I left it at. Not sure you heard the last part of that.
Honestly, City Boy and Static #4 were the only books I got this week. That's what my pull looked like.
I want to hear Static #4. I want to hear your take on that.
Your keyboard sounds aggressive. Yeah, I can give you my take on Static because this is my I mean, I don't want to call it my book of the week when I only got two books and I liked them both, but you know, you saw me tweet about Static. Like this was what I wanted from the beginning. Like this level of intensity. Like honestly, I need to reread the first three because they were such a blur because they just not a whole lot happened in the first three issues of this 6 issue mini. But there was a lot to be excited for. Every issue had a tease for what's to come, a tease for the popular Ebon. The Man, I always liked Ebon. His powers were super cool. I like Ebon's powers over Venom because they're similar in a way, but Ebon seems a little more OP because of the way he can just like master the darkness. But yeah, this was like kind of kind of freaky. You see Virgil and his like just getting scared and just his anxiety being driven up the wall. Um, but this is a really good book, and I it started out one boom, and the end was like kind of sad. If you've been reading the series with Vita Ayala and Nicholas Draper, there's a I don't know if I want I don't know if I want to say what happens, but like the ending that caught me off guard. That was a pretty sad moment, and then like it was just like even sadder whenever like he was with his family, like they kind of just like that teary eyed group hug moment. But yeah, so the guy just got done being scared out of his mind by this new villain Ebon, who who is understandably very very scary. Uh, and the book ended with him like just being heartbroken over losing a friend. So, but yeah, this is a great book, and like I'm finally excited about the series. It took me a minute because the first half was kind of vanilla, but not bad or boring enough to where I'm gonna
You
drop
heard me
it.
laugh. I said you said vanilla.
Just I'm just like spoiled like that. Sometimes I just need like something to happen instead of just like progression, especially in a miniseries. But yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, vanilla.
Like, come on, that's fair.
That is the comment of the show right there. Oh, that is comment of the show. Oh boy, Ruby, you have made my day for that right there. You have made my day with that.
You never heard that before?
I've heard vanilla, but never applied to a milestone book.
Oh, don't do Oh, don't put me on blast like that with a milestone book. Man, I am the. I'm not,
That's all good. I know you ain't like
just,
that. So funny.
everyone on the show knows I'm a big sucker for the milestone line. I could talk
I
milestone
know.
all day. I recently got the second compendium, but I see the play on words. I see, but I'm calling out from under the bus that you're trying to put me under, Marklet.
All right. All right. So, what titles are in the second compendium?
It's I mean, I haven't unwrapped it yet, but like it's just like the more from the previous, like more of like the icon, like the first compendium had like a dozen issues of each
Okay.
milestone character. So the second compendium has like at least 12 more for each character. I think there'll be a third one, and that'll be it for the compendium from the milestone from the 90s, unless they do like add something else because they added Zombie
Mm-hmm.
XOMBI. I'm not familiar with Zombie,
Oh, you
but
didn't read Zombie?
nah, man, that's before my time.
Hey,
I
man, everything is before your time in comics, though. I mean, because comics are just always gonna be something before your time.
No, right, but like Zombie hasn't done anything since the 90s, I don't think. But
Well,
I'm not familiar with it.
did you read Duo?
Yeah, I love Duo.
So Duo is like the remake of Zombie, kind of, sort of.
For real?
Yeah, I mean, basically, in Duo, and I didn't finish Duo, but Duo basically the two scientists got merged together by nanites and all that kind of stuff, right? And that the basic
Yeah.
premise of it.
Yeah,
So
it's a wife and a husband.
right. So and they're both like Asian, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the premise of Zombie was this Asian scientist, he died. They brought him back to life with nanites, and he was a zombie. But instead of being a ZOMBI, BIE. He's a zombie XOMBI. It's like the whole supernatural version of Milestone. It's like
That's interesting.
I'm telling you, Duo was the remake of that of Zombie. So if you like Duo, you probably would like Zombie.
I like Duo. I just feel like a story like that needed like more than 6 issues to truly blossom.
I agree.
But dang, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it was the basic premise the same. They just updated it for Duo.
So was Zombie like really connected with the other Milestone characters? Did they ever like was it made clear that they were on the same Earth or same like
Yeah,
city? Okay.
they were
Because
all in the Codaverse, but he was like on the outskirts because like at
oh,
that
okay.
time, Milestone started to kind of branch out and do this weird stuff like Shadow Cabinet and all this kind of the secret world behind the world and all this stuff. That's what they were kind of getting
Yeah.
into. Like, oh, you bang babies think you're all that, but it's been stuff going on for years before y'all got y'all powers. Y'all just don't know about it.
So
You know?
who in Zombie are like is it people connect like is there somebody inside somebody else's body or
No, I mean he knew who he was, but he was dead. And people like, well, you're a zombie. He's like, I'm not a zombie. It's like, no, not a ZOMBI. You're an XOMBI. Like somebody who's been resurrected unnaturally by other means, but you're not like a supernatural zombie. And people tell him that all the time. Like, or
okay.
at least the issues I read, people would tell him that.
I was just curious because like in Duo, it's the wife and the husband, and the wife like they both kind of die, but then I think it's the husband that wakes up with the wife inside of him.
Yep, that's what it was.
Oh, okay, so it's like that too. Okay, I was just
Well,
kind of
it wasn't like
confused.
that. And I'm looking on DC Infinite right now. They have 6 issues of zombie in there now.
Okay, I
So
got the it's in the compendium somewhere. I didn't. It's like the last thing I looked at. I was trying to read the Blood Syndicate.
I mean, well, everybody loves
uh,
Blood Syndicate. Let me ask you this about Duo. Was the guy what was the main character's name, the husband? Was it David Kim?
yeah,
Okay, it's the same thing. Yeah. Duo
he's
is a remake of
Korean.
Zombie. Yeah,
Oh, his name's David Kim in Zombie.
yeah. I'm looking at it right
That's
now. But this
that's
is the
interesting.
I think this is the remake of Zombie. I'm looking at it on DC Infinite right now because it's got John Rossum.
I wonder why they did that, like, and not just like do a remake or reboot of the original what they originally had.
I guess Greg Pak, because Greg Pak wrote it, right? Didn't he?
Greg Peck wrote it, but Reginald Hudlin, like, this makes sense now. Okay, so it said Reginald Hudlin created the characters in the story. So I wonder, so is it a remake or is it a reboot? Like, is this just like
Reboot
a
is
mod?
probably a better term. Reboot is probably a better term.
Okay, that
Because I
makes
mean,
sense. Okay.
yeah, because I mean the character's names that when I read that's like when I read Duo number one, I'm like, this is Zombie, but it's been updated for 2022. That's the first thing I said.
Yeah, makes me wonder why they changed the name because oh no. I mean, yeah, like Duo is like it makes sense, but I'm just curious why. I don't know. I guess maybe like I haven't read Zombie, but it sounds like it's more focused on David Kim. But this one,
It was, yeah.
they take turns, like, and there's the relationship dynamic, like the wife and husband, like they're trying to not let each other lose their minds within this process.
Right.
Um,
All that was new, I don't remember that
okay,
in the
yeah.
original book.
So makes me wonder, like, if this version was supposed to be like two characters on the same level playing field, like they're both the main characters. Um, that's just me speculating. I'll check out Zombie and really weigh the difference, but yeah. Well, that's cool though. I didn't know that. Now I'm curious to read that and compare.
Yeah,
Um,
you're gonna make me go back and reread Zombie from Milestone. I mean, because like I was a little kid when this stuff was coming out, so I don't,
yeah,
I had to kind of get what I could get,
right.
but I remembered it like, oh wait, yeah, I read this when I was a kid, it's different.
Man, I don't even think I had a comic. I didn't live in a small town, but I don't think I had a comic shop in my town when I was a kid.
And
Uh,
that's what I was talking about in the beginning. I'm like, man, I used to go to like Walmart and the grocery store and the drugstore to get comic books. That was it. you
Oh,
know.
really?
Yeah, and when I got able to drive, that was when I first discovered a comic book store. But I didn't really start collecting comics on the level I am now until I got to college, and I found
Me
these
too.
specialty stores.
Yeah, I didn't collect until I was in college. I bought my first trade back in 16. Um, the first like modern comic I read was the Batman Court of Owls by Scott Snyder,
Hmm.
because my buddy who collected comics, he collected trades, and I just heard about it from him, and I was like, dude, like, let me check this out. And so yeah, I read that. But first trade I bought was Aquaman by the Trench, uh,
Oh, you bought
which
the Trench? Oh man, that's a classic start right there. That's a
classic
good
stuff.
start.
Perfect start. It'll always have a place in my heart. Like funny story behind it. What made me buy that trade was well, I mean, I'll just start from the beginning, I guess. But like, uh, I was in college and we were transitioning houses. So me and my roommates, we were going from an apartment to a house. But there was 2 weeks of limbo, of 2 weeks of time where we were basically homeless. Like we couldn't move into our house, uh like it was too early, and it was like freaking the like basically like our apartment's lease being up and our apartment or a lease for the house beginning was like 2 week in between, so we couldn't get into the house early. So my roommate had a grandmother who had a house in Lubbock but didn't live there anymore, but they still
Hmm.
like had it and had power. So we went, we stayed in that house for 2 weeks and just like slept on the floor and stuff like that. It was a house, but yeah, we did that for 2 weeks, but we didn't have internet. So, and that was back before uh, I didn't have unlimited data back then. So the struggle was real. uh, and it was in summer school. I was in college. So I picked up the trade. Black Man is my favorite villain of all time. And I was
Oh
like, yo,
man.
if I want to read some Black Manta, I need to start from the beginning, because the second trade was a Black Manta trade. I was like, okay, that looks cool, but I want to know how we got wherever there is. So I picked up the trade, and so naturally, the more I tried to read more about Black Manta, the more I fell in love with like Aquaman Mara and their lore. And I'm still an Aquaman junkie today. But what did you say?
No, I would say I've never heard anyone say they're Aquaman junkie. You are a true comic book fan if you say that.
Oh,
You
I
are
love
true.
me some Aquaman. Like if you just really give his comics a shot, like his stories are just absolutely amazing. I mean his villains, like, that's us as guys, I think that's what we always go towards first is the villains. But yeah, like Aquaman's stories are amazing. Like there's some stories I could pinpoint like where I really took from his Aquaman's the way he was written, like the way it really like teaches you something. Like you see Aquaman acting a certain way, and it's like I want to act like that. Like I want to model what he just said. Like uh, because Aquaman legitimately killed Black Manta's father, and
Yeah.
today he's like those thoughts still kind of haunt him. But he said that that mistake made him Aquaman. It made him what he is today, and like now he knows he doesn't want to kill. He doesn't want to like act in anger. But yeah, I love his villains, love his lore, love the character. Um, yeah, and I would really like for him to get another ongoing. So we'll see what happens. Come on, Tom Taylor. You
I
hinted
mean,
at it with Tempest, so let's do it.
I agree. I love Black Manta now. He is one of the best villains, especially I think from that Aquaman movie. People are like, oh
Oh
man,
yeah,
Aquaman, Black Manta's the shit. Especially when they were fighting, they were like jumping across the buildings and stuff. He was
oh
like,
yeah, that was great.
I'm gonna knock the hell out you for killing my daddy.
Uh-huh. And what's funny too is in the Aquaman movie, it's like Black Manta having a jetpack is slowly becoming iconic, but he doesn't really have a jetpack in the comics, but he did have it in Injustice in the video game and in the
Mhm.
movie. So now it's like it's a funny way that they made that a staple of his, and now it's kind of weird to think of him without a jetpack, but uh yeah, because he's mostly underwater, so his jetpack is like to help him propel underwater. But yeah, I love Black Manta and Ocean Master. They're both great.
Mhm.
Like when it comes to Black Manta, man, like I'm really fascinated with villains who operate off of hate. Like they truly despise the hero. Like
True.
Reverse Flash, Lex
Yep.
Luthor. It's a lot of Superman villains like Metallo,
Yeah.
Cyborg Superman, Cheetah with Wonder Woman. I don't know a lot about Green Lantern stuff, but I think Sinestro like despises
Oh, he
not just
does.
Hal Jordan, but the whole Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know who that would be for Batman, honestly. Like, what villain hates Batman? Would it just be Hush?
Yeah, Hush is a good one. I mean, he hates Batman, because the is more or less obsessed with Batman.
Yeah,
you know,
It's the opposite. Joker loves like it needs Batman in his life, but
yeah, I'm
the
obsessed with
rest
him.
of the rest of Batman's rogues, they just want to do their own thing, but Batman stops it. So like Batman's more of a sore to them, like a thorn on their side.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
I don't know any villains that hate Batman, like have a personal grudge towards him.
Mm,
Um, might be a common sense thing, honestly. Like, so I feel like somebody's gonna be like, "What about?" And I'm like, "Oh wow, I didn't think about
I mean,
that."
I would
But
say Talia may hate him because he rejected her, but she still loves him though.
yeah, she still tries to go after him, no matter who he's with, no matter who he's married with.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
but cool, man. So yeah,
Well,
that was my
let me ask you this before. So you're a Black Manta fan, but this is the question I was asking Black Manta fans. Did you know, and I don't know if you knew this or not, did you know he killed Aquaman's kid though? He killed
uh,
Aquababy.
Death of the Prince. Yeah, iconic story.
It is. And I'm like, I'm like, because some people are like, I can't rock with him because he killed this man baby. I was like,
Yeah,
well,
that's an iconic story and something that I have a gut feeling we might be seeing in the upcoming movie because there's been heavy rumors that Aquaman, Arthur and Mera have a kid in this movie.
mhm,
So we'll see. But I thought what they were gonna do in the movie was I thought Black Manta. I don't have any reason for thinking about this really. I just thought like a little headcanon thing that Black Manta might kill Arthur's father in the movie. Like instead of a death of the prince, it'd be like a death of like an eye for an eye because
right.
Aquaman killed Black Manta's father. So maybe they might twist it to where instead of killing Arthur's son, he kills Arthur's dad. That's they could do that. I don't know, but that'd be interesting. But yeah, I knew when I discovered the death of the prince story with Aquaman and Black Manta, I thought like, wow, that is dark.
It
That
was
is
dark.
so dark.
It was way
Yeah,
ahead of its time when they did that. Nobody was like, what? you know?
exactly. Like I'm thinking, because I don't know anything about comics. I'm really fascinated with comics like that took place back then, like the culture, the climate of comics back in the day. But I'm just like, wow, there were little kids reading this. Like little kids read Black Manta suffocating this little child. Like he looked like 4 or 5 years old, if that. But yeah, it's pretty dark for back then, I
I
thought.
mean, that was because and I wasn't reading. I mean, I wasn't reading those books, but I went back and read them. Like that's when Aquaman was leading Justice League, and they were in Detroit, and he just basically quit
Right.
Justice League. Like I ain't got time for this. My kid just got killed. you know,
Hmm.
and that was like Crisis came, and that basically ended the Justice League, that version of Justice League, and the funny Guy Gardner, Martian Manhunter, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, they became the replacement Justice League at that time.
Just League International.
Yeah, Justice League International, which I think is, I was on Twitter recently, I think they were underappreciated. People said, no, it was a top 3 selling title. I said, yeah, but nobody cares about that league. Everybody cares about Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, nobody cares about that league, in my opinion. But those stories were really good, like we're gonna take some B-list characters and make them the primary team. And it was funny until it wasn't funny when somebody got killed or got hurt.
Yeah. There's so many iterations of Justice Leagues that could take place at the same time. There's the League, then there's International, and then there's Justice League of America. Like I don't know if you read during Rebirth, there was the JLA was Vixen, the Atom, uh, Eric Choi, yeah, Eric
Yep.
Choi. Um, I'm
That was
blanking.
Waller's team, wasn't it?
Lobo.
Was that Waller's team? Because Waller had a team that a Justice League team. She was running with Steve Trevor. I thought.
I I thought Batman was the one who was. I didn't read it. It was written by Steve Orlando. Killer Frost, and
Yeah,
Lobo.
I remember
Uh,
that.
yeah, I thought Batman like recruited them to make a separate team, but I couldn't tell you. But all that to say is like there's a lot of Justice Leagues that could happen at once, like with totally different members. Um, versus I don't know anything about Marvel, but like I don't know that they have like multiple Avengers teams that
They got
have
multiple
going on
Avengers teams.
simultaneously.
But one thing Marvel never did that Justice League did was that Justice League they went funny with that international team. And really, I didn't really read that until Justice League Europe came out. And like Captain
Mm.
Atom, Wonder Woman, Flash, Elongated. That was my first time seeing Elongated Man, Rocket Red, and I don't know who else was on there. And that team was a disaster. Captain Atom was their leader, and it was a disaster. It was funny, but it was like, this is a disaster. Then of course, it was good. I'd recommend you go back and read that. If you hadn't read that, Justice League Europe was good. And then
Oh yeah.
eventually everything happened. Like Max Lord, who was the villain in Wonder Woman, who's also been the villain on Supergirl, the first season of Supergirl too, I think. He actually I don't know what happened to him. He got possessed by this entity, and it was this big 15-part crossover between both of the books, and they basically ended the run on both of the books, and they rebooted it like as a more aggressive, we're the Justice League Extreme. We attack people stuff. It was no more funny stuff at all. Like we're extreme. We attack. It was the 90s. Everybody was attacking everybody.
I'll tell you what though, the Justice League International was really interesting to see in the Tom King's The Human Target
Oh yeah.
because the Justice League International was sprinkled throughout the book, especially with Guy Gardner and Fire and Eyes. So I mean, of course, that was a Black Label book. I don't think we'll ever see a JLI run written like that, but that was super interesting to see like just their dynamics and whatnot. The idea of Fire dating Martian Manhunter is something else.
It
Like,
is something else. But I mean, in that book, that could have easily have happened, because I remember when Guy
yeah,
Gardner took Ice out on their first date. I remember they had a whole issue, and he took her out to the movies, and he took her to see a porn movie in New York.
in the Human Target.
No, not in the Justice League
Oh,
book. He did that.
oh, okay, gotcha.
He kept asking her for a
Damn.
date, and she kept saying, "I don't want to date you. You're not like, I'm not into you." He said, "No, and basically he got hit in the head. When he got hit in the head, he would become a nice guy. He was the nice and sweet Guy Gardner. And so she
That's
kind of
funny.
fell in love with that version of him. And he got hit in the head again and became the boorish Guy Gardner. But he still liked her. And so he took her on a date, and they went to go see a porn movie. That was his idea of a date. I'm taking you on the town, baby.
Dang.
That's the
That's
kind of
funny.
character Guy Gardner was. So the stuff that Guy Gardner did in Human Target did not seem out of line to me at all.
Oh no, I doubt it. I mean, I don't doubt it. He definitely seemed in character there. Um, so much so that was a really interesting run, like seeing those characters. So it's just like, man, Tom King, like you write these obscure characters, like pick up one of these guys, like write a Guy Gardner run or write. Well, we're getting a Fire and Ice book, but stuff like that, or Gnork, that Green
Gnork.
Lantern, Gnork, yes. Oh, that'd be
Gnork was
great.
another character that came out of that Justice League International run. Just like, we just gonna make a funny lantern,
Yeah,
He was
I
Rocket
heard it was
Raccoon
really
before Rocket became Rocket Raccoon. That's what he
yeah.
was.
And I'm reading Green Lantern now. Like I've never read Green Lantern, but I'm reading it now. I'm
Really?
starting with it. Yeah. Well, okay. So I've never read so the Green Lantern I have read was the Joe Mullen run with N.K. Jemisin
Okay,
and
that's a great run. Yeah, that's Far Sector. Yeah.
Far Sector. Yeah, I would. N.K. Jemisin, please come back. But also I read, and I really didn't care for it. The first 7 issues of the Jeff Thorne run.
Mm-hmm.
That was just all over the place, but yeah, I'm reading with a friend of mine, the Jeff Johns Green Lantern run, because if you know any Green Lantern enthusiast connoisseur, if you ask them like, where's a great place to start, they're gonna say the Jeff Johns run, and I know
Right. I
that
agree with
now.
that.
I know that now because that's where the modern Green Lantern lore started. Like he made Green Lantern what it is today with the emotional spectrum, which
True.
is super a huge game changer for the Green Lantern lore. Like, can you imagine like where we would be without that run? We would just still be working with Green Lanterns. And I mean, of course, like the emotional spectrum thing could get overblown, but it's still that's probably one of the biggest wins in modern
Right.
comics is just expanding like that. Yeah.
I mean, I agree because I remember Jeff Johns when he took over Green Lantern. I wasn't happy about it at first. I felt like he retconned some things, but
Mm.
he did it so he could do. He did it so he could do, the Sinestro War, and then introduce the Spectrum and all that stuff. And then Blackest Night is probably my favorite DC crossover. Jeff Johns did that through,
Really?
um, through Green Lantern. That's when he introduced the Black Lantern ring.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I got him credit. But Jeff Johns, I trust him because when you said you read the Trench, I'm like, that's Jeff Johns Aquaman right there. Jeff Johns was the man at DC for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. He is. I mean, I have his Aquaman omnibus, his Hawkman omnibus. He's written, did the Blue Beetle. He did a Booster Gold run.
Yeah,
But yeah,
great.
there's so many iconic things. Flashpoint, so many iconic titles. So what Jeff Johns did back in the day is what I would like to see Tom Taylor do now.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that
Did
is
you say Tom Taylor or Tom King?
Tom Taylor.
Tom Taylor. All right, so Tom Taylor's
Because
currently writing Nightwing and Titans. Okay, gotcha.
yeah, because he really has the keys to the DC Funhouse right now. He's exclusive to DC, and he has more than enough potential to like do things similar, like write these like characters that need love and attention, and just go off, write a solid run. Like he did with, I really like his Suicide Squad run, and they call because that's what they do. They call Tom Taylor, "Hey, this run isn't doing so good. You want to hop on and fix
You know
that?"
what?
You know?
You are right, Ruben. He is that guy they call now. You are absolutely right. You're right. He's
Um,
basically in the Jeff Johns position because Jeff Johns, to me, I know he started with Stargirl, but he didn't blow up the JSA. And and what he did on JSA, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna fix Hawkman. He's the one came with the whole reincarnation thing, and then I'm like, this dude fixed Hawkman, and I was hooked on JSA, and that whole where people love it or hate that Black Adam movie is based a lot on Jeff Johns' run on JSA. The whole
yeah,
it was called the Black Rain storyline when they went to Kahndaq, and that
I
is
read the
classic.
Black Rain. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's classic Jeff Johns because Jeff Johns built to that for so long. And I was like, it's not gonna be pretty. And they went to Kahndaq, and it was much worse than the comic books because people was getting killed.
oh
In the
yeah,
movie, you
yeah, for
believe
sure.
people was getting killed in the comic book.
Yeah, I've read bits and pieces of the Jeff Johns JSA run, but I haven't read the whole thing because it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a
um,
lot.
but yeah, Tom Taylor, man. Remember Nightwing back in the day, or like not that far off, but like during the Rick Grayson era?
The dreaded Rick Grayson era where everybody hated it. Everybody hated it.
Everybody hated that. And so Tom Taylor, they had to pull him in and fix that, you know? Of course, like Dick got his memories back before the Taylor hopped on, but he just picked up the torch and just like now that run has been nominated for so many awards. It's
I
been
saw that.
going
It's
on for
numbers.
so long. Yeah, it's that book is doing gangbusters, and the art is amazing.
Yeah, Bruno
And
Redondo, I think, is doing the art on that.
oh yeah, yeah, they're a perfect team. And Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo did the Suicide Squad. It was only 11 issues, but he said that that's what he wanted to do was just 11 issues. But that run was great. It was sad because like Black Mask lost his Year of the Villain gift with his like shape-shifting mask, like where he could change face. And Ted Cord supposedly died, and Superman got involved. And Deadshot and his daughter. It was great. I love that run so much. So all that to say, I hope he does that with other characters, similar to what Jeff Johns did back in the day. Like, um, who I don't know. We finally got a Green Arrow run. Like, who some characters? Give us a Firestorm run. Give us uh,
Ooh.
Ryan Palmer, the Atom. Firestorm like really needs attention. Even like there's multiple Firestorms, but pick one and write it because we
But you
just
know
need.
what? To me, New 52 hurt Firestorm because basically you had the two Firestorms, and they basically Ronnie Raymond, and I can't remember the brother's name right now.
Jason.
Jason Rourke, and you basically they combined them, and Firestorm was initially, Ronnie Raymond and Professor Stein, and then it was like,
Mm,
Jason Rourke, he became Firestorm because the Matrix hit him, and then he ended up eventually merging with Dr. Stein later on. But then they just like basically put Dr. Stein out of it and combined them together. And I'm like, these guys were Firestorm, separate Firestorm. You made them one Firestorm together, and then it was like, I was confused. Like, wait a minute. So when Jason's in control, Firestorm looks one way. When Ron's in control, it looks a different way. I'm like, New 52 really hurt that character, in my opinion.
Yeah, and New 52 is still canon, of course, but I've seen that you can tweak, you can retcon without rebooting kind of thing. Like, for example, and this is a can of worms discussion, Shazam. It looks like Mark Waid is going to reverse the man-child aspect of Shazam and bring back Golden Age Captain Marvel. Of course,
Right.
call him the Captain. So it's doable if you can write it in a good way, is what I'm saying.
But you're right. It's the talented writer, Mark Waid, who's also from Alabama as well. I'm gonna shout him out. Him and Jason Aaron, I always shout them as being Alabama writers. Mark Waid is a very talented writer who's written almost everything at this point. The guy used to write Archie. If you've written Archie, you've written pretty much everything at that point.
Yeah.
So he can do it. And I actually bought that Shazam because I was like, okay, I like this.
You got number one?
Huh?
You got number one?
Yeah, I got number one. Yeah, I got it.
Nice.
I'm gonna get that.
I don't know much people reading it.
The only thing I didn't like about that is that he got rid of the family. Because that's one thing I think Jeff Johns added that was good. I like the Shazam family, the modern day Shazam family with Darla and all these other kids and stuff like that. I like that.
You mean like they lost their powers?
They lost their powers, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, remember it's just Billy Bassett. He's the only one with the power at this point in that first issue.
Well, I'm trying to remember. Did they lose their powers in issue 1, or did something happen?
They lost their
before
power
that?
during the Lazarus Planet thing.
Lazarus Planet, that's right. I was like, if Mark Waid did that, then when? But man, I did not read any of that stuff. Like the Lazarus Planet, it did not seem interesting. It seemed, which is crazy because I'm now a huge fan of Mark Waid, but from the looks of it, the solicitations and just the visuals, I'm like, what is this? Like Batman with the Dr. Fate helmet with the bat ears. I was like, come on, man. But I need to read it because I'm a big fan of Monkey Prince, and I know there's some characters that popped up in there, but I'll check it out. But I'm excited for the Jam.
I mean, this Lazarus Planet is to me DC's attempt to kind of play with anime concepts and manga concepts and ideas. Do you ever get that vibe from reading Lazarus Planet?
Oh yeah.
I was like, okay, I feel like this is a grab because manga is selling so well, which I don't know, man. I've never bought a manga. Have you ever bought a manga before?
Oh yeah.
All right, so mangas run with $12.99 a volume, basically.
I don't know. I thought it was $9.99.
Either way, that's more than a comic book. That's my point.
Oh yeah. And you see these people on TikTok like manga, like they come home like, oh, just like a quick trip to Barnes and Noble, and they empty their bag, and it's like a dozen volumes of manga. I'm like, how? That is so expensive.
Exactly. People complain about my comic pulls. I'm like, man, but I'm getting like a discount, and like, I'm like $3.99. I usually try that $3.99 range most of the time. I really avoid variant covers because they kind of go up on price too, to be perfectly honest. You know. But I'm like, how are they buying a stack of like $9.99, $12.99 mangas? I don't understand that.
And those suckers are thick, so like they come back from the store and it's like boom. But yeah, I mean, no disrespect. I love manga. I read it digitally, like on the Shonen Jump app. But collecting it, I'm just not gonna go there. People have their like collections upon collections. Like I don't know, it's wild. But that's a totally different discussion. We could totally go down the rabbit hole of Western comics versus manga.
But I do want to ask you something. So we were talking about Mark Waid. So let me ask you this. This is the book that got me back in the comics. Earlier I was talking about how I got back in the comics, and
which book
that got me back was Kingdom Come by Mark Waid. Have you read that?
Man, don't judge me, but I'm a DC fanatic, but that is one that has been on my list for a minute.
I suggest you read that, man. Get it digitally, go to the library and check it out. I'm sure it's in the library because it's a classic now. I
plan to get the hardcover when I can, but yeah.
Ooh, yeah. But I mean, that's the book, and especially when you made me think about, you talk about Shazam. That was the definitive Shazam for me that he wrote. And it wasn't even Shazam doing that much. It was Superman and Shazam's interaction in Kingdom Come. Because the premise is like all these years later, Superman retired. You know, it's kind of the same premise of Injustice, but Superman, instead of going crazy, he just retired after he killed the Joker, after he killed whoever hurt Lois.
Yeah,
he just retired, and because he retired, everything went crazy, and superheroes became basically judge, jury, and executioner. And Shazam, I don't even want to spoil it for you. Shazam shows up, and to me, I can't think what his name. Alex Wade, Alex
Ross.
Yeah, he's the artist of covers and interior. Mark Waid's the writer. That is the book that got me back into comic books. That right there, Kingdom Come.
That's cool. Yeah, it's I do book club with a buddy of mine, and it's on our list because we share a list of what to read next. That's definitely there. Honestly, man, I'm a new reader, not really a new reader, but like World's Finest is the first Mark Waid book I ever read, and I'm still reading it. But before that, I just heard about Mark Waid, like his Flash one was epic, or Kingdom Come was epic. And I definitely I'm slowly reading like each like DC character. Like Flash, I've read all of his New 52 and all of his Rebirth up to the Josh Williamson run. But I definitely plan to go back and read the Mark Waid and the Jeff Johns run. Mark Waid came first, right?
Yeah, Mark Waid came first. So Mark Waid, when he was writing Flash, you know, Wally West was the Flash.
Yeah,
so Mark Waid is the one who introduced the Speed Force. He introduced this whole concept of Max Mercury, Jesse Chambers, or Jesse Quick, Impulse. All that stuff came during Mark Waid's run. The Black Flash is deaf. He introduced that as well. A lot of that stuff was done by Mark Waid. I mean, he was the definitive Flash writer until Jeff Johns took over, and Wally West was still the Flash. And Jeff Johns introduced, Zoom, and kind of put a focus back on the rogues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of Mark Waid. He kind of laid the foundation of Speed Force, Black Flash, all these other speedsters, being able to share speed, take people's speed. And then when Jeff Johnson, he's all right, I'm gonna take it back to like these are the rogues, and this is why they're dangerous, and this is how Wally West deals with them. And then of course he got rid of Wally West, brought back Barry Allen with Flash. I hated Flashpoint when it first came out. I'm gonna tell you why, because I hated they killed Barry Allen's mother. I thought that was unnecessary. Even though everybody accepts it now, I thought it was unnecessary. I thought this is obviously a retcon. Barry Allen's mother was never dead. Explicitly.
I was about to say.
She was never.
Say that he have a different origin.
Man,
like
his parents were never. This whole thing, when his mother got killed, his father went to jail. That is a Jeff Johns Flashpoint creation. In fact, I didn't remember talking about his father in Flashpoint.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
He retconned stuff, and I guess you could say, well, you never knew whether they were alive or dead, but it was never explicitly stated. Oh, his mother died. And that's why he's, I'm like, what?
That's interesting. I didn't know that. That's wow. I thought that was always. I guess it makes sense because Barry Allen debuted like back in the
60s.
Like 60s, yeah. So I can't imagine that origin story like that. That's interesting though. You really know your stuff, dude. I really gotta check that out. Because my second favorite villain of all time is Eobard Thawne Reverse Flash. Love Reverse Flash so much. I have the collection of the Reverse Flash Rogues. I got that. I got him and Captain Cold, the trade paperback that collects like epic stories from those characters. So because I also love Captain Cold, but Reverse Flash is absolutely amazing. He debuted in I think 144 of the Flash.
I think so. I don't know when he came, but you got to realize part of why I know a lot, because like my father read comic books, my uncle also read comic books. They would tell me stuff. I was told, I never read it, but I was told that Barry Allen killed Eobard Thawne. It was this big story, like the trial of the Flash. So I never read it myself, like in fullness. But Thawne killed Iris, and Barry Allen basically got pissed off, and he killed Thawne. It was like the trial of the Flash, and it like led into like the Flash dying in Crisis of Infinite Earths. Like he was on trial.
Oh wow.
And so basically, I don't know if he was found guilty or not, but he died in Crisis. And then they were saying what happened was that Barry Allen, he died in Crisis. Oh no, before he died in Crisis, he ended up going to the future, Legion of Superheroes future, where Iris was somehow brought back to life. He ends up marrying her and getting her pregnant before he dies in Crisis. I don't know what issues that happened. This is like the early 80s, like 85, 86 this happened. So this was before my time too. But my uncle told me that's what happened. And that's how, you have excess, on the show, she's his daughter, but in the comics, she's his great granddaughter, something like that. And she's from the Legion of Superheroes. And Impulse was also in that time period. That was her cousin instead of her being her brother like it is on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, so I mean, and of course the internet helps too. You're like, what happened to the Flash? Did Barry Allen kill the comics?
Yeah, I got a lot to read. Like Flash-wise, like I said, I did New 52, Rebirth up to the Williamson run. I haven't read the Wally West, what's going on. I need to, though, because I've heard nothing but good things. But yeah, I plan on going down that rabbit hole with the Flash because there's so much to read. But hey, Markman, so I got these, but what'd your poll look like if you haven't talked about it already?
Yeah, I was talking about it. So it's interesting we're talking about Jeff Johns because I was going to say my number one pick was Justice Society number 4. And then I said, no, I'm not. I'm crazy. Ruben hit me up by the Static number 4. That's my number one pick. So my number 2 pick would be Justice Society number 4. And that's Jeff Johns doing what he does. Jeff Johns is crafting a story, a generational story of Justice Society. And if you watch Stargirl, it's kind of the same thing he was doing on Stargirl, but it's like the TV show. Now he's like, all right, I'm going to take it back to comics and really delve deeply in it. What Degaton is this time traveling Nazi villain that's basically traveling through time. He's trying back through time, killing different versions of JSA. And now we have back where, now this is something I didn't know, and somebody had to put me into, like my friend Kevin put me onto it. So Huntress, when I started reading comic books, the Huntress was a separate character who wasn't related to Bruce Wayne. He was like, nah, man. Huntress was Earth 2's Batman and Catwoman's daughter. And they retconned it after Crisis, which I had no idea when I first started reading comics. I was just like, oh, because when I started reading, she was like the Punisher. Like my father was a mobster and they got killed, and now I hunt down criminals and kill them. That was the version of Huntress I first started reading. And now they're going back to where she's the Earth 2 daughter of Bruce Wayne and Catwoman. And so in the JSA, basically she's traveling through time, and she's in the present day JSA with Power Girl and Jay Garrett Flash and Alan Scott Green Lantern, and we actually have the Yolanda Wildcat and the female Beth Dr. Midnight too, because they got killed too, which is, I had stopped reading comics then, but apparently in Eclipso, when Eclipso had his own series, did you know Eclipso had his own series at one time?
Isn't that like New 52 or
it's like in the 90s? Yeah,
it rings a bell. Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about. Rings a bell.
Yeah, so Eclipso in his series, he killed like the second Wildcat Yolanda, and he killed the second Dr. Midnight Beth. He killed them, but somehow they're back to life again in Jeff Johns' current story. So I'm curious how it's all gonna come together.
Yeah, I haven't read. I still haven't read Flashpoint Beyond, but like I really haven't read any modern Jeff Johns stuff. But a lot of people didn't care for the JSA book going on right now just because they wanted a JSA story, but they got a Helena Wayne featuring the JSA kind of thing. At least, I mean, that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's accurate, but
I mean, that's accurate. But I trust Jeff Johns' process. He's going to build a story. I trust his process. I mean, sometimes you got to give the writer time to cook.
Yeah, that's very fair. All I know is
Claremont, you got to give him 27 issues to cook.
Which is also a thing. But I definitely do think that the JSA needs their own title, like their own ongoing, especially with the Justice League not going on right now. I think that's a good opportunity for the JSA to be the Justice League, but I know that's what they're doing with Titans. But people have just been screaming for a JSA book for so long. But we are getting those 3 solo books of Sandman, Jay Garrick, and Alan Scott Green Lantern. So that's cool. So if y'all want JSA stuff, support those books. I agree. Sandman.
I agree. And I wasn't a big JSA fan. Like I said, you got to get someone like my friend Kevin that was on there with me. He can tell you because he used to buy those All-Star comics and JSA books back in the Infinity Inc. That's way ahead of my time, you know. But he used to buy all that stuff. He could tell you all about it. Did you freeze, Ruben? Ruben, look like you froze on me, bro. While we waiting to see if he gets back in, I'm acknowledge this comment. By Ian Tokyo_Joey in Japan, manga is crazy cheap. Also, one issue being black and white, they're packed full of pages. Well, that's true. I just got to get into my manga and get back. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I'm more of an anime fan, y'all. Like I didn't like anime at first. I think the first anime I liked was Ruben just fell out, so he may try and come back in. The first anime I actually liked was Dragon Ball Z, which I couldn't stand at first. My boy Scotty was like, shout out to Scotty Gladden if you ever see or watch this. Oh, Ruben's coming back in. Hang on, let me add him back in.
I don't know what happened. I got kicked out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just acknowledging that comment about manga. He was like, it's like cheap in Japan. I said, well, we ain't in Japan though, bro. Because they ain't cheap here.
No, I lost you again.
Yeah. You lost me again?
Oh no. Oh, there you are. There you are.
Okay.
I was like, we were doing so great.
We were doing great, man. We only got 30 minutes left.
You know what? This might be an idea for the channel, but like I would like to really discuss Western comics and manga, and like we could bring some manga connoisseurs on here who know about that, or some people from Japan. Hey, Joey, Ian, who really know that culture, because that's a big thing. Like the way that manga outsells Western comics, I get it. Like I get the reasoning. You know, like Western comics seem daunting and convoluted, and versus manga, you just got to pick up that number one and you're good to go.
That doesn't make sense, though.
For sure, but I would definitely like to have it. It'd be pretty cool.
Especially that never makes sense to me. You can pick up a number one of any comic book and basically be, you know, that was Stan Lee's whole thing. Everybody's comic book is their first one. So I don't get that to me, but you know. And I mean, it depends what manga you pick up. Like I was looking at Berserk the other day. Berserk is a lot of volumes. Dragon Ball is a lot of volumes. You know, I'm tempted for My Hero Academia. I'm really tempted for My Hero Academia. Oh, you can't hear me again?
Can't hear you. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yes, I'm tempted to try My Hero Academia.
Do it. It's great.
Yeah. Because I like the series.
I read My Hero Academia every Sunday when they drop a new chapter.
Okay, what chapter are they on? What chapter are they on now? You broke up. Say it again, Ruben. I said, what chapter of My Hero Academia are they on now?
Like I'd have to look.
62.
Oh, it's in the triple digits.
Oh hell!
Like chapters, not like volumes.
Okay.
Because chapters are like that long, but that's what I read every week is a new chapter. Okay. But yeah. So you like JSA? Was there anything else hot in your stack this week?
Yeah, I like Fury #1 from Marvel. I did like that, and I'm a fan of Nick Fury, especially the Samuel L. Jackson inspired Nick Fury. You know,
yeah.
And he's on the cover, and it basically kind of like celebrated the retirement of the old Nick Fury. And Al Ewing wrote it, so anything Al Ewing writes, I'm pretty much gonna buy at this point. You know, I'm an Al Ewing stan. What else did I like? Static. Fury. I'm looking. I liked All 8 Eyes #2. Did you read that? All 8 Eyes?
Man, the only indie I have on my pool right now is Phantom Road, which has been pretty good.
Yeah, let's talk about Phantom Road. That last issue. Did you read the last issue?
I read it last night.
What were your thoughts on that? Because I'm like, okay, we're going a different direction here.
Exactly. I was like, what is going? The only reason I knew we were still reading the same book is because we saw the bodies of those creatures. But other than that, I was just like, I see what's going on though. They kind of railroaded to somebody else's perspective because apparently they're going to start getting these, whatever's going on is getting investigated. But apparently there's a third party involved. Like whenever somebody broke into that detective's home and kidnapped her or whatever. Something's going on. I don't know, like some stuff that I didn't expect out of this book, but yeah.
Because I felt like that person investigating, like, especially like they had been in that other world when they were a kid and they got out somehow. So I'm like, is there a way to get out of this Phantom Road world?
Yeah, it's like, are you watching that TV show From?
From the guy from Lost is in that, right? Harold Pernet or something like that. The brother from Lost.
Waiting to get the audio back.
And you.
Oh, there you are. Say again.
Yeah, the guy from Lost is in that. From
yeah.
Okay,
yeah, Boyd. So it's kind of like that. I think it's kind of like that because they're trapped They're trapped in this town, and if you try to escape, you're just going to come right back like full circle. So you can't leave the town. So it's kind of like what I thought Phantom Road was like, except and there's also similar like monsters in From that will like eat people at night.
Really?
But yeah, it's pretty freaky. And the monsters look like people. Like there's a milkman, a librarian, just they're all smiling. But once they get a hold of you, then their monster face comes in and they just like eat you. Like kind of like Stranger Things, the Demogorgon, like
Okay.
rows of teeth and just like chomp. But yeah, so a lot of similarities to Phantom Road, but not derivative at all. I'm definitely I'm liking both right now, but Phantom Road's still really good. I hope we get back on track to that creepiness or being trapped in that town. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I missed the two main characters.
Yeah, but Phantom Road, especially that I just looked through it again online. I was like, man, when you saw that she was in that Phantom Road world, the detective, I said, oh snap! So she got out somehow because she was in there when she was a little girl. I'm like, okay. And now you're making me want to check out From. So let's see, what else did I like? Eight-Legged Freaks from Dark Horse. I think all eight eyes. That's what I keep wanting to call it, Eight-Legged Freaks, because I think about the
I was about to say, is that a comic right now?
No, all eight eyes.
Classic
That's
movie
the comic. But Sergio and I that was a copper drop, and we had a good talk about that too. I was like, man, this book was not what I expected at all. I really enjoyed this book, and I didn't even know a spider person, but I really enjoyed it. Let's see what else I liked. What else did The Harrower from Boom Comics. Have you touched that at all? Seen that? I don't know if you heard me. Harrower from Boom Comics.
Who is it from Boom?
Harrower, Harrower, Harrower. About this serial killer killing kids.
No, sounds interesting though.
It was interesting. The ending was kind of derivative though. I will say that, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just like, oh, they kind of fell into this horror trope, and I'm like, okay. But I was satisfied by it. So, okay, it makes sense to me. I get this. Let's see what else I looked at. Vanish. Have you been reading Vanish?
We were doing so well, and now like the audio is breaking
We
out.
lost you again. Let's see.
There you are.
Yeah, have you read Vanish?
Just issue 1.
Vanish may be a trade weight. Maybe. I like it.
Oh, I can see it.
Yeah. I like it. The art is good. The story is good, but also I feel like we kind of circling now. And I don't know if it has anything to do with Danny Cates' real life. You know what's going on with him? Because every story I see was like, oh man, he's spiraling again. I'm like, man, let this brother get the help he needs so he can kind of go back to making his money and stability. But I mean, he's been keeping that out because he left Hulk, he left Thor. But he's still doing Vanish. So, yeah.
Man, it's so funny. Like my pull list is like not huge right now. Like I get like 2-3 books a week, but like being in conversations like this and talking to you, like, it makes me just want to go read all the things. But sometimes you just can't read all the things.
No, I mean, you can't read all the things.
Digital.
but I'll say this much though: the internet, you're right, digital, because
Yeah.
the pandemic is what made me start reading more comics. I was never a digital comic person. When Marvel would give you a code to get your digital comics, I would do that to build a library, but I didn't really care. The pandemic, where I couldn't go to the comic store, that made me care. That made me start reading more comics digitally. So if I miss it, I still try, because I'm a collector. I want to buy the physical copy of it and read it. There's nothing better to me than that. But if I miss it and I can't find it, I'll read it digitally now, or something old I want to look at.
Which is, of course, I feel like anybody would prefer physical, but for the sake of convenience, digital is pretty clutch. And I mean, quality wise, sometimes it's even better. Sometimes it's nice to look at the art in a nice lit up screen. But yeah, it's pretty handy. What I've been doing with digital is like, I've been very conscious about space. So there's a lot of titles that I don't want to collect physically, but I want to support them. So I'm buying them, subscribing to them on Comixology. Same thing, of course. Like it's a bummer. Like it's kind of I'm not collecting it for my LCS. I'm collecting other books from my LCS, but there's some books that I'm like collecting on Comixology just to support, and I'll eventually buy the trade. But it's like a good balance to save space.
I'm glad you brought up Comixology, because then you made me look at my library. What's currently in your library in Comixology that you would like recommend to somebody? I'm just curious.
Well, I'm currently collecting the Cyborg run by Morgan Hampton.
Okay, that's Cyborg #1, was great first issue.
I read that #1, which was a good #1. The art was like blinding. It was a really strong art and colors. That was good. I downloaded the Shang-Chi run by
Was it Gene Loon?
crap, I'm spacing on his name.
Was it Gene Loon?
He wrote like 15 issues. Gang. Yeah, Gang, the one who wrote Monkey Prince and Gang. So I have those issues downloaded onto my, because you know how you can only you can rent books from Comixology. Like
Right.
if you want to get another one, you have to if you have your capacity is too full.
That's happened to me. Yeah.
Those downloaded, and then the Unstoppable Doom Patrol. But yeah, it's pretty much it right now. Some other books on the way that are coming out soon, like Steel. I'm gonna be reading like that.
All right. Yeah. So Steel has been I'm looking forward to Steel, because you know Michael Dorn, that played Worf from Star Trek, is going to write Steel. You knew that, right? I don't know if you heard me. I said Michael Dorn, that played Worf from Star Trek, is going to write Steel for DC. I'm excited about that.
Those variant covers are sick. If you're a Steel fan, all those covers are great. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah,
I might even just cover buy it, like my favorite covers. But no,
you big money grip. You spend money on covers now.
Space, man.
Man, covers will run you a certain cover run you $10, $15 at New Comic Book Day. I'm like, what?
I rarely buy those kinds of covers. I just get like cover B's or C's that are just $4.99. You know, and I get my discount. But that's usually what I do. I have to really like the character and the art if I want to buy one of those like incentive covers, like the 1 in 25s. It's kind of rare these days. But yeah, there's some sweet covers on that Steel run, so I might pick up like 1 or 2. But the rest I'm doing digitally until I get the trade. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, Steel had his anniversary recently. He had his 30 years, and he's got a hardcover collection of Steel stories. So
really,
check that out.
Really,
yeah, you didn't see that?
I did not see that. Man. Look at that.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. It's a hardcover. It's like white, and it's got like a good picture of Steel in the middle, like with his hammer. But it collects. Honestly, if you're a Steel fan, like if you read Steel for a long time, I'd like to know your thoughts on the stories they picked out for that collection. They seem kind of all over the place to me, I think. But hey, it's pretty cool to give a character like that a nice little hardcover shout out. I dig it.
You have just made my day. I mean, I'm looking it up now. I'm looking it up now. So like I was actively reading Death of Superman. And I was
Yeah,
so
I'll
happy
probably pick
that
that up.
Steel made it through Death of Superman. Steel and Superboy were the characters who kind of made it through. That they weren't bad, they survived. But for some reason I could never really put my hand on the Steel series when it was coming out. So obviously his best stories in Justice League, when Grant Morrison was writing them, he put Steel in Justice League. And then they had this thing called I don't remember the story arc, but basically one of the best where Steel died and the Black Racer came to get his soul, and Superman was like, "You can't have him. You can't have him." And Superman like basically fought death to save Steel's life. So a lot of people talk about how excellent the Louise Simonson run was on Steel and Christopher Priest when he took over. And I know how Christopher Priest is when he get on a book. Because Christopher Priest is the one who made Black Panther what he is today. So I'm excited about this. You got me.
Isn't Priest the guy that you said was a good jumping on point for Black Panther? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I lost
Priest
you.
is the definitive Black Panther writer.
Answer that when I let you know when I get your audio back. We're almost there. We're almost to the end of the show.
All right, can you hear me now?
Not yet. Oh, there you are. Yeah. So
yeah, Priest is the definitive Black Panther writer, in my opinion.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff. Not who?
I was gonna say not John Ridley.
Man,
I can't hear you now, but I'm sure
I'm going to talk about John Ridley. So I'm going to say this. John Ridley is one of my favorite novel writers. I've read his novels. I like his stuff. I watch his TV shows. I like his stuff. Mm-hmm. He won an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave. I think he can write.
Really?
However, let me say this. I think what he attempted with Black Panther did not work. He tried to do a deconstruction similar to what like Frank Miller did with Daredevil, or what was done to Batman during Nightfall. I'm gonna break this person down and have them get beat up a lot, and we're gonna build them back up. Black Panther fans ain't having that. They not having their hero get beat up. The worst part of it was, and I will go on record and say this, was when Steve Rogers beat Black Panther bloody in his own title. I was like, oh no.
I've been in similar situations, dude. I miss Aquaman being the king of Atlantis, man, but they had to change that up and then made Mare the Queen and then made nobody king and queen. And yeah, so I don't know if it's similar. Oh, hey, Elle. I don't know if that's similar, but definitely kind of been there.
She said she just saw my message. I'm getting her to come
I messaged you too, Elle. But it's all good. Kind of. We're getting through it.
Yeah, so, but Eve Ewing is about to take over Black Panther. I think that comes out in June. And everyone's excited about that because she's exploring the underworld of Wakanda, is what I've heard. I'm like, and at first I was like, Wakanda's supposed to be like utopia for Black people. Now, wait a minute, but there'll be an underside to any utopia anywhere.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't see characters like Black Panther, Daredevil. Like, I'm so ready to go down the rabbit hole with Marvel characters, but. Like I said, I don't read Marvel. There's certain characters I'm really interested in. But right now, I'm collecting Ghost Rider with,
Benjamin Percy, it's the writer.
Yeah, the writer.
Benjamin Percy,
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been completely caught up on that. I've been really enjoying that because it very, very stands alone. It's great run, very dark. So I've been reading that. I've always been interested in Ghost Rider, and this is a great jumping on point. Though I hear it's different. I hear Ghost Rider is not always, I don't know exactly. I just think the horror aspect is a little stronger in this run. I heard it's not always like that, but I'm digging it. I'm loving it. And I'm not collecting this, but I know they have a Danny Ketch series going on right now. It's like a 5-issue series. Not by Benjamin Percy. If it was, I'd probably read it, but yeah, that's going on.
Wait, has the Danny Ketch series started already? Do you know if the Danny Ketch series has it started yet? Do you know?
Say again?
The Danny Ketch story series has it started already?
Yeah, there's number one. It's
okay.
Number one's out.
All right, I hadn't seen it because Danny Ketch is currently in the Benjamin Percy Ghost Rider as well.
Yeah, they're currently at odds.
Yeah,
both Ghost Riders, him and his brother. Because that was interesting for me because like now I learned that Danny Ketch was Ghost Rider once upon a time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and now I know it's his brother, so very interesting. But yeah, this book doesn't disappoint. It's something's always happening. I don't think there's been a single issue that was like a lull. So I'm digging it.
Yeah, I mean,
So
Ghost Rider by Benjamin Percy is very. It's a horror book. I mean, it probably is a spiritual successor to the Immortal Hulk as
it's
far as
like a
body horror. Yeah,
it's like an indie book.
huh?
I feel like it's like an indie book. It's like written like an indie book featuring Ghost Rider. Not in a bad way at all. Like that's just what it feels like. And I like that about that. It doesn't seem like Big Two at all. So
Really?
like Benjamin, I think so. I think Percy's killing it like that, like really giving this book some identity.
Okay. I mean, he
Yeah.
took up. Ed Bryson had the last Ghost Rider book that made Danny catch the spirit of corruption, and
For real.
yeah, Ed
I
Bryson wrote
like
the
it, Ed
last one,
Brisson.
but it got canceled basically because people are like, we don't like this. I mean, and Johnny Blaze was the king of hell. So we basically tossed all that stuff out for this run.
When was that?
Probably 21, yeah, 2021.
How many issues did that go for?
7, maybe
Oh
7.
wow, that is canceled.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it didn't make it,
That's rough.
But Danny Ketch was the Ghost Rider I grew up on. You know,
Okay.
Howard Mackey, Max Texier, they were doing the writing art on that. I didn't know anything about Ghost Rider, and
But Johnny
eventually,
was the original, right?
yeah, he's the original Ghost Rider. So the old heads put me like, man, no, Johnny Blaze is the original Ghost Rider. They brought Johnny Blaze into that series and spun it off into another series called Spirits of Vengeance, and they had a whole bunch of stuff. And it was, they had a Blade, Blade, Spirits of Vengeance, all this kind of stuff. Spun off that Ghost Rider for the 90s. But like I said, my mother considered that demonic, so that wasn't coming in my house.
Yeah. Moms.
Yeah, she was like, nope.
I mean, hindsight, like I get it. It does look pretty freaky for especially if you're a kid reading that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
that as far as like the Marvel heroes, like Ghost Rider's all I'm reading, and then like Predator, which is not Marvel, but it is. It's so much so not Marvel that they made the 20th Century Fox logo on the top for Predator. Kind of just like separated, I guess, but that's been okay. It's been all right. I kind of don't know if I want to keep collecting it after this run, like after this 6 issue mini. But we'll
Why do
see.
you feel that way? Because I'm reading it too and collecting it. Why do you feel that way?
Um, how can I say this? So, like, the book is good. It's just, it just something's missing. It's like lacking flavor in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and maybe I think that now because like what's going on with the Predator book, we've seen it in the movie Predators, plural. But
Mm-hmm.
this one's interesting because they're coming from different timelines. But
Exactly. That's what I
that's
like about it.
that's what makes it interesting. That's a big plus for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what was I going to say? I don't know. It's a little something missing. I feel like the first one was great because it was like completely original. Um, don't know what to expect. I don't know. I won't even try to explain it anymore. But um, just some kind of flavor missing. I hope like it gets turned up a little bit somehow, but we'll see. I don't know. Like, are you 100% on it, or could it
Yeah,
be
I mean,
better?
I like it. I'm currently caught up on it. And the first arc, was that Ed Bryson who wrote that? The first arc?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all
Uh-huh.
right. So the first arc, I read it and I enjoyed it, but then Prey came out, and I was like, well, what came first? The screenplay for Prey or this comic book? Which story
Yeah.
was submitted first? They're very similar in that you have a female
Yeah.
protagonist who takes on a predator and wins. I like the Theta story in the comic book better because I like futuristic sci-fi stories. And then we see
Definitely
his
what this
play,
is.
yeah, and we see the play on the Predators movie, which is one of my favorite Predators movies. Which I think Adrian Brody don't get enough credit for that.
Love
That was a good
I
movie.
love that movie. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I don't think he gets enough credit for that, but it's a play on that, and it combined what we saw in the first arc. But I'm with you, and like I don't know where the story can go once we get past this.
Yeah. It's it's like I want to keep reading Predator, but like I kind of want like a new number one with a new story because I'm kind of curious. I mean, give us Theta again, but just tweak it up, something. I'm not going to try to pitch a story here, but it's like I like Theta and I like her new friend. What's the guy that she befriended at that space station? He's got a big fro and
Yeah, I know who you're
he's
talking
kind
about. I
of
think his name either.
yeah, he's kind of like it's the classic like scaredy boy, but the girl's the tough one. But so I like these characters. It's just like I don't know. I'd like something different story wise with them. So we'll see. I don't know. I like Ed Bryson. I like what. I don't think he's written anything that I've read that I didn't enjoy. I liked his Deathstroke.
Yeah,
The first Predator was great.
didn't
I
know
was
he-
really sad.
I didn't know
Wait,
he
what?
wrote Deathstroke. You talking about the Deathstroke Inc. That with him with Deathstroke and Black Canary. He was writing that. That's
So
what you're talking about?
when Josh Williamson wrote Deathstroke Inc. with Black Canary, um, I don't want to get into that. Like it was a really not great run. He basically wrote Deathstroke for the sake of Dark Crisis,
Right.
and then whenever that was over, he just jumped. And then Ed Bryson came aboard and wrote Deathstroke Inc. a completely new year one story for Deathstroke.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yes, that was good. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he did that with Dexter Soy. I thought it was a great run. He only did like 6 issues,
Right.
and then it just Deathstroke Inc. just ended. So it ended on the end of his year one arc, which I really, really, really liked for the art, the story, the retelling. You see him going up against Green Arrow. That was epic, but unfortunately, I think people just were turned off of the Josh Williamson run, so they just kind of dropped it, which is a bummer because I think Ed Bryson's perfect for a character like Deathstroke, obviously, because he's writing Predator and some other, like, Ghostmaker too. But yeah, bummer. I hope Deathstroke can get another run soon because
Yeah.
you just.
But you're right.
it's a character.
Ed Bryson is Ed Bryson the one writing Batman Incorporated with Ghostmaker? He's writing that too?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so
And Clown Hunter.
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that, especially the issue. It wasn't this, and maybe it was the most recent issue where basically Ghostmaker caught all Batman's villains or had them all in one place and could have killed them. He's like, but Batman
Right.
doesn't kill nobody. So he called Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson came and got him. He said, look, if they get out and kill somebody or hurt somebody, it's on you. And it was the most compelling argument I've seen of why Batman should kill his people, because eventually they all got out and all raised hell. And definitely, and the Ghostmaker was like, I knew I should have killed him when I had him in one place. I knew I should have done it.
Man, I'm a fan of Ghostmaker. I think that's one of his Tynan's better creations
Right.
because
I mean,
Tynan
I
created
agree.
a lot in his Batman run.
I agree. Did you read the Chip Zdarsky's Batman White? I don't know what it was called. Where Batman was training, and it showed how he met Ghostmaker. I don't know what it was called.
I didn't. I think it's called The Night. I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really, really, really want to read that. I haven't read it though because I was just like, I saw it on the shelves and I was like, man, this is going to be a 10-issue mini, and I know it's going to read great as a trade, so I'm just going to do that. But it seems super interesting, like seeing him train and seeing him with Ghostmaker. Like that was a quick little tweak because Ghostmaker was introduced like not even a year before that book came out, so that was a good way to go about that. And so I want to for sure because learning about Batman becoming Batman is always interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree. And so I see the comment. Elle agrees with you. Ghost Rider's the only Marvel book I've been able to keep up with lately. So she agrees with you.
Well, maybe she agrees that it's like it stands alone perfectly. Like I don't read a whole lot of like it's just like from the shelves, from the solicitations, like Marvel just looks like all over the place, like which the X-Men and the Avengers and everyone just crossovers upon crossovers, but Ghost Rider's like in his own little world right now, literally. And with that girl, it's getting kind of spicy. I noticed like him and that girl finally hooked up, and I was like, "What happened to your family, bro? I haven't seen them since issue 2."
See,
So
I thought the same thing, Ruben. I'm like, wait a minute. Aren't you married with kids? What happened to your
we're kids, yeah.
No.
But I was that little like them hooking up was like you could see it coming from a mile away. But It's like, Ben Percy, did you forget that he has a wife and kids that we were introduced to in the beginning? And they were sweet. They were just like, go do what you gotta do. But yeah, that's interesting. I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, let's see. We got another comment. Ian Tokyo Joey. I've only read issue 1 of Predator. It's like the Alien books. We had 3 or 4 issue 1s in the last few years, and they're also similar. The latest art that just started out could be cool. So, fingers crossed. So we got fingers crossed. That's what you got.
You think it was a
Yeah,
middle
I
finger?
mean, I really enjoyed this latest reboot of Predator more than I enjoyed the reboot of Alien. Because did you
Really?
read? Alien just I'm gonna put it like this because somebody new was writing Alien. I think Philip Kennedy Johnson had been writing Alien up until now.
Yeah. He
Now
jumped, yeah.
I think it's Declan Shavely. I think he's writing it. So we basically get introduced to a whole new cast of characters on a whole new different planet, and the alien's about to get somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's gonna be this kid. And anytime I see kids get got in comics or movies, I be feeling bad. I be apprehensive. It's making me anxiety. Like, oh man, this kid's finna get it, man. I don't want to see this, but I want to see it. But I don't want to see it. That's how I feel.
Give or take.
Like I don't want to see it because it's gonna make me feel bad, but I want to see it. I can't turn away if it happens.
Uh-huh. Yeah. The art was super interesting in the Philip Kennedy Johnson run. It was like borderline like 3D. I don't know. It was very unique. But I only read the first 3 issues and I enjoyed it, but I just was cutting back at the time. But I really would like to just binge the new Alien stuff.
I mean, I think you can definitely do Philip Kennedy Johnson right. And to me, this is just to me, I feel like he is better at horror than superheroics. Because the first thing I read by Philip Kennedy Johnson was like Marvel Zombies Return or something like that. And that's the first thing I ever read by him. And I was like, this is a great horror story, like, I was hooked. And then he got on Action Comics, which everybody loves, I'm liking what I'm seeing in Action now because Action's the fun family Superman book, but I feel like his horror stuff on Aliens and Marvel Zombies was stronger to me. Yeah, that's where I am right now.
Yeah, I feel like Philip Kennedy Johnson is such a great horror writer, but he would never call himself a horror writer, like that kind of guy. But he does it so well. Like his Hulk run, I don't know if it's a mini or an ongoing, but it's going to be a horror.
He is coming on Hulk. Okay.
Yeah, and
I'm
supposed to
looking
be
forward
horror.
to that too. Yeah, I mean, because I'm telling you, Immortal Hulk was a horror book. It was a body horror book, essentially.
That's interesting. I don't know that. And the only thing I read from him, well, I read his Aquaman. He did an Aquaman annual with the Trench, which is great. What's it called? He did his Action Comics. Okay, so I read his Action Comics, like the Mongol, the War World run, and I just like, this is an epic freaking writer. Like, I wanted him to be writing characters like Hawkman. I wanted him to be writing like Green Arrow. Like, this dude writes villains and arcs so well. It was so epic. But I haven't read the current like Metallo stuff, so I'm curious about that, or if they've even like gotten there yet. But so yeah, like for a while, like Philip Kennedy or PKJ as some call him, he's a writer that I would love on like my favorite characters. So yeah, he's very talented and he's great in horror.
Yeah, and you see what Tokyo Joey said. Kennedy's first art was great. It was more horror to start. Some scary scenes in that book. One that involves a kid, which he's right. It did involve a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I would recommend his Alien with no hesitation. Philip Kennedy Johnson, Alien, no hesitation. I understand people like his Action Comics Mongol War World, and I think it's really Mongol War World to me. I think I find them derivative of Apocalypse sometimes, and I get tired of it. Here we go again.
Right. I just really like, here's what I like, and this is what Philip Kennedy did. I like when like members of the Justice League are challenged in their own books with Justice League level threats. So Mongol is like, he's like a pseudo dark side, and he's got
dark
War
side
World.
light, man.
Exactly. But he just about had Superman at his breaking point. Like, he was about to just like he just about had Superman like just like dangling like a puppet. Like, he was about to meet his maker. And I think any Justice League characters should have that Justice League level threat. Like recently, Batman had that with Failsafe, and I
Right.
could back that up by saying other Justice League members tried to get involved, and Failsafe laid them out on their ass and
True.
went back to tormenting Batman. Um, I just don't think you see it a whole lot. Like, but yeah, but like for example, Failsafe could have been a Justice League villain. Mongol could be a Justice League level villain,
Right.
and they've fought in the past. But that's what I like about that. Like when characters are villain, heroes are challenged like that, and the
Uh-huh.
villains are just written so well. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, World, like that whole thing with Mongol is like really epic.
I'm gonna go back and reread it because you like it, and I know Dragon liked it a lot. I
Mhm.
just lost I can keep track of it, and I see the kids from that run are now in the current run, in which the Metallo
Yeah,
run I like the Metallo run because Metallo basically, we still don't know what. Yes, we do. We do know who the villain is. The villain is Cyborg Superman in Action
yeah.
Comics 1055. The person who's been talking to Metallo, who's been changing people into like Metallo-like creatures, is Cyborg Superman. So we know that now. But I don't know how they're gonna get out of it yet. And I don't
Mhm.
know if it can be saved yet either.
Yeah. I like me some. I like Superman's villains are great. I love Cyborg Superman. I love Metallo. Mongol's great, but yeah, those villains are pretty great and they're pretty freaking scary.
So and I'm gonna say that when I think about Mongo, do I think about the Alan Moore story for the man who has everything? That which Justice League Unlimited did as an episode too, where basically, hey, the reason Superman hates Mongo so much because basically he put that black mercy thing on him. They gave him that fantasy world where Krypton never grew up. He was married, he had kids and all that stuff, and they couldn't get it off of him. Wonder Woman and Batman. And basically, when they finally got it off of him, he was ready to kill Mongo. Like, you know what you did to me? You gave me what I wanted more than anything in the world,
And then
you
took it
know,
away. Yeah.
and took it away. And Mongo's like, I
Hmm.
don't give enough, you just in my way. You just in my
Yeah.
way.
I thought Mongol was pretty epic in Young Justice, but yeah, you can never go wrong with Mongol because he's pretty unstoppable. He's like a formidable foe for Superman. Not quite as much as Darkseid, or not Darkseid, Doomsday, but
Yeah.
still pretty threatening. Yeah. I want.
Man,
Speaking
go
of
ahead.
which, I gotta plug this. So, are you reading Action Comics right now?
I am reading Action Comics right now.
Do you know if you're a fan of Doomsday? One of my favorite writers, Dan Waters, is doing a one-off special of Doomsday. I don't know if it's an annual, but it's a one-shot, and it's with Superman and Doomsday. Uh, it's like 48 pages maybe, but it's a one-shot, and that's coming out soon. I think in July or August. But yeah, that's written by Dan Waters. Dan Waters writes villains so well. He wrote Arkham City, and he wrote Year of the Villain, Ocean Master, which I really enjoyed.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
the guy can write villains so well, like just on their own. So he's writing freaking Doomsday, a Doomsday story with Superman. It's a one shot coming out of Action Comics, so that's going to be epic. I'm not collecting Action Comics, but I might pick that up because the art looks amazing too.
I will check that out. That makes sense. If they're doing a Steel anniversary, they
Hmm.
should be doing a Doomsday anniversary as well. Because that's how we
Oh,
got
that's
that's how we got Steel. Because Superman
yeah.
they killed him.
And Superboy, Connor Kent came out around that time too, right?
Yep. And Superboy Connor Kent has a new #1, which I read and I got #2 and I enjoyed it. You
Yeah, he's
know,
got a
um,
series.
I just like seeing the entire Superman family acknowledged. Even though Power Girl, she don't want to. She's like, I don't f with y'all. I'm not really one of y'all. I like how
Right.
John Kim was like, well, but you're my cousin though. You're my cousin though.
Hmm.
She's like, I'm not really related to you. I'm from Earth 2, and I'm related to those
Yeah.
people. But you're my cousin though.
Oh, that's funny. And yeah, and she's got a series coming up too.
Oh, she
So
does.
but yeah, by Leia Williams, I think.
Okay.
Lots of super family love going on right now. But yeah, probably because of the 30-year anniversary. That Superman.
But with Power Girl, her powers have changed though. Because now it seems like she has more psionic abilities than just, super the typical Kryptonian abilities.
I'm gonna flex. I got this for free with my
Ooh, feel free.
DC Universe Infinite subscription. I got the email and they were just like, "Hey, claim your free Death of Superman deluxe 30-year anniversary deluxe book. So yeah, just
You know
put in
what?
my address and they sent it over.
I got to look at it because I have a DC Infinite solution subscription as well. I
Yeah,
don't
check
have
your
that
spam.
Ultra. It probably is in there. I don't have Ultra though. Do you have Ultra? The
Oh yeah, I
Infinite
have
Ultra?
Ultra. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why you got that. I ain't doing Ultra.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah, I'm not
$20
doing that.
value book.
Yeah, I mean that's good though, man. But I mean, I definitely do enjoy DC Infinite. I mean, I'm just looking, I mean, I'm gonna tell you what I've been reading on DC Infinite right now. Legion, Legion. I don't know what made me decide to go back and reread that. I never
Is
read
that
it.
Legion of Superheroes?
No, that Legion Super is Legion. So it's about Brainiac the Second, Brainiac 2,
Oh,
Vero Dox the Second, and the team he formed. With Lobo and a version of Phantom Girl from Legion of Superheroes and all this stuff.
okay.
It's kind of similar to the Justice League International. It's kind of funny at points because basically he's a dick and everybody knows he's a dick and he always manipulates them. But it's a little bit more serious in sci-fi, and Lobo's in it. So Lobo's like the raging lunatic in it,
Okay.
which he is. He's a raging. Lobo's a raging lunatic. That's what he is. But Dox keeps outsmarting him, like, oh, well, I beat you in combat. Perfect example. He beats him in combat, and so Lobo basically has to work for him until he finds a way to defeat him in combat. And so the last time he tried to defeat him, he said, well, I'm going to challenge you right now because I'm tired of working for you. He's okay. Well, let me pick the form of combat. The form of combat was chess. That's the kind of stuff he does.
Okay. That's
And Lobo, so of course, Lobo was still working for him. But Lobo is a raging lunatic. So Lobo is quick to go off and kill somebody and do something he's supposed to do,
Uh-huh. That's funny. Wow.
So check out Legion on DC Infinite. I've been reading. I'm like 40-some issues in now.
Man, Mark, like talking to you, I walk away with like a dozen new things to check out. like now I'm really interested in Zombie, Christopher Priest, Black Panther, so many of the things, man.
Well, I mean,
Kingdom Come, of course.
And that's the joy of this hobby, man. You can put somebody on something and they'll bring you something different. Like, hey, man, you start seeing this, or I didn't like this, but I like that, or this is what I didn't like about it. So it's all good. But man,
yeah, I don't know if there's much stuff I could put you on that you haven't read already.
Now it's always stuff I hadn't read, man. Like I said, you've put me on stuff already. I didn't know was coming. I was, all right, I get that one track mind. What's coming out this week?
So you know what? So I got this a while back, like a month or so, whenever it came out, the 30th
and I didn't
anniversary
get
milestone.
that. I know what you're talking about. I did not get that.
What? Yeah. So
my store didn't get it.
oh, that's a bummer, man. The Nicholas Draper for this, he did a variant cover with Static and Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Static Beyond. So that was a cover. I almost got both, but I was like, man, these are $9.99, so I'll chill.
Yeah, they were $9.99.
But so I've had this on my stack, and I recently started it, and man, this was good. Like I read like the whole second half. The first half was like all Blood Syndicate, and like a little bit of Hardware Icon. The latter half is like more straightforward, like one-off stories. Like one where Icon retires and Rocket assumes the role of Icon, but she's like an adult. She has a teenage son and all that. And there's a Static story in here. Oh yeah, and the Static Beyond story where Draper wrote and did the art. Yeah, so you can see like a little bit of Static Beyond.
Oh snap!
Yeah, it's super super cool because I love Batman Beyond. So seeing him with Static, and they're not the same age, but like Static is trying to be there for him. Like hey, I get it. Your relationship with Batman's rough. Like when I was starting out, Mr. Terrific spent hours trying to teach me this and teach me that. Like just that real. I guess like a soft mentorship kind of thing. But yeah, this is, man, I encourage you to get this, Mark. Like if you find it on eBay or something, it's really, really good stuff in here. But what I'm excited about, yeah, check it out. Check it out. Like both covers are sweet. And then this week is the milestone initiative where like a dozen creatives writing like different stories in this one shot from the the summit they did, the Ally, where they
Right,
partnered
right.
up with different creator. Yeah, so that's coming to fruition in this upcoming thing, but hopefully some more stuff too. I think Jeffrey Thorne hinted at more Blood Syndicate in this because there was a Blood Syndicate story and it said to be continued very soon, and I was like, what does that mean? Like, I don't understand this. I understand solicitations. Tell me what's coming out. uh, because as of now, as far as the milestone stuff, I don't know what's going on with the Blood Syndicate. Like, if we're gonna get another series or what. But like, because I know Icon versus Hardware, that's kind of covering both those characters. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, so lots of milestone goodness going on right now.
Ah, man, I love the milestone stuff, man, especially Blood Syndicate. I mean, Blood Syndicate, when it came out, man, I was remember being in school. People like, man, have you seen this comic book where there's a gang? I'm like, what? Which I had seen. I said, man, people's like, man, this is a gang.
Are they your favorite from the milestone?
Probably, man. I probably read more of the Blood Syndicate stuff than anything else. Blood Syndicate. Well, no, I can't say that. The top three were probably Blood Syndicate, Icon, and Static. Hardware was kind of the odd man out.
Really? He's my
Oh,
favorite.
but I felt he was like Iron Man, Batman derivatives to me. But
I mean, but you can say that about a lot of stuff.
true. I mean, it's all shades of the Mystery Man. It's all shades of the Mystery Man at the end of the day.
Chillmonger, I absolutely agree with this. Combining Icon and Hardware, I feel, and I really hate to think this way, I feel like both books from the previous runs, didn't sell enough to like justify both of them continuing with another series like Static did. So I think they're making up with giving them like two birds of one stone kind of a book, unfortunately. Um, but Static always sells.
But Static is more popular because of the cartoon too. That's what it is. Static is basically Milestone's Spider-Man. He's their everyman character that they could sell.
Yeah, and I just think there's something about younger heroes that sell more. I don't know. Yeah, the cartoon definitely helped, but yeah, like Hardware and Icon, the only animation attention they got was in Young Justice, and that was hardly anything. But yeah, you know what's interesting, dude? Funny you say that. Static was for a minute like my hard character to get into as far as milestone goes.
Mhm.
It just wasn't like, and I loved the cartoon as a kid. I loved the cartoon because I was a sucker for people with different powers. But
Mhm.
comics wise, I was just I wasn't not interested in Static. I was just more so interested in Hardware and Icon. So
I
so
mean,
yeah,
I can definitely get the icon thing, and a lot of people have hated on the Warren Reggie Hutland run on icon, but I enjoyed it, especially when he went to that slave that's plantation and killed the slave owner. Oh, no, it was Jefferson. Didn't he kill Jefferson Davis? He killed he killed the head of the Confederacy, and his head
yeah.
on a pike. I was like, oh, okay, that's where we going.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of people they're like, man, if a brother got superpowers from the Civil War, why would he not take over? Which he tried to take over, but then it ended up, other aliens on Earth, and it stopped it from happening. I was like, well, okay,
You
be interested.
see, I like how they mentioned that in the Reginald Hudlin run where um, I think Icon was talking to Rocket's mom. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm like, so I've been around for years, like hundreds of years. And like the first question that came up was like, if you were alive back then and you have these powers, why didn't you stop slavery? Why didn't you use your powers for good? And he was just like, I tried. Believe me, I tried. Like, so I just feel like that kind of spoke to how powerful slavery was back then.
Yep.
And so even a super character like Icon couldn't like face off with that and win. So uh, that was my interpretation. But yeah,
I mean,
I like how they.
and I got that as well. And I was like, okay, I get it, because it's kind of like the Superman thing. You can do all these things, have all these powers, but at the end of the day, you still can't do everything. And
Yeah, you can't save everybody, especially with ideology like that.
do you see this question? Do either of you have a favorite comic character, one long-standing one over various writers, and one from maybe a standalone story like a non-superhero? Ooh, that is a great question, Michael
It's
Phoenix.
a tough question.
So my
I'll
first stab
definitely
at
I'll
this,
let you go first. Yeah.
would be Wolverine, because Wolverine was my character for years, and primarily the Chris Claremont Wolverine in Uncanny X-Men. However, here's the weird thing about this. When Chris Claremont spun him off into an independent book, I didn't like the independent book because I didn't like Wolverine being separate from the X-Men. I felt like he was boring when he went with the X-Men. Now the current Wolverine series that Benjamin Percy is writing, and that's good. And and he also played in Benjamin Percy's run on Ghost Rider, which is also good. And he played in the Benjamin Percy story on X-Force, which is good. So that's my tentative answer right now is Wolverine.
Okay, that's a pretty good answer. Man, the way that Mr. Michael Feeney worded this question, I'm gonna go with. Of course, I can't say I have like a number one favorite comic book character of all time. I have a lot of favorites. So because of this question, I'm gonna say Swamp Thing.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
Yeah, because he is longstanding over various writers, and he's had like more than enough like one shots or like very small stories. Like Tom King's Winter Special with Swamp Thing. That was very, very out there. Swamp Thing is out of his element, and he's with a kid, and they're trying to run away from the monster. If you haven't read that, I really recommend it. But yeah, Swamp Thing's history goes from like way back in the day with Len Wein, who created him in that horror anthology from DC back in the day, the House of
Mystery or House of Secrets.
House of Mystery. It's Mystery, yeah, House of Mystery, where it's that classic cover of the blonde girl brushing her hair, and behind her is a monster at the window.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone from there, and then Alan Moore. Well, there was a big run with Len Wein writing Swamp Thing before he was the Avatar of the Green, and then Alan Moore took over and completely changed his mythos, not in a contradictory way, but just like evolved the character to where he's the Avatar of the Green, like the body horror aspect. He can, if there is so much as a leaf on the ground, Swamp Thing can emerge from that leaf. Like he's OP to an extent. And then Alan Moore run was great. The Nancy Collins, whose omnibus I have right here in front of me that I need to crack open, just added on to it. And then so many amazing writers have given to the Swamp Thing lore. And then we got Ram V, who wrote Levi Kamwai Swamp Thing, A New Avatar of the Green. That was my favorite book for a very long time, and I'm very excited for it to come back. Yeah, I just think you can't go wrong with Swamp Thing. I get it; it's not for everybody. If you're really into heroes, the DCU Swamp Thing show was amazing. I will not go down that rabbit hole of how criminal that was canceled. That was criminal. That was a perfect show. Oh, Abby Arcane, that actress. I love the great cast. But anyways, so many writers and creators have contributed to Swamp Thing's lore, and what helps is that Swamp Thing really stands apart. Yeah, he runs in with Batman, John Constantine, Superman here and there, but he's in his own world in the swamp. And we got the Swamp Thing movie coming out with James Gunn's DCU, so lots of reasons to read Swamp Thing. I recommend it for everybody, even though it's not everyone's thing.
I will say this much. My first exposure to Swamp Thing was the old movie that came out in the 80s, and then Return to Swamp Thing. That was my first exposure. Then they had a Swamp Thing series just come on USA when I was like a little kid, but I could never see when it came on. But and even though everybody has respect on the Alan Moore Swamp Thing role, that's because even though Len Wein, he laid the foundation, people give Alan Moore the credit. For me, I didn't love Swamp Thing until, was it Jeff Lemire, or was it Scott Snyder? No, it was Scott Snyder. It must have been Scott Snyder. Yeah. Scott
Snyder did the New 52, and then Charles Soule took over.
Yeah, and that's when I fell in love with the cast. I love Swamp Thing because I had done the series before then where his daughter Tiffy, she was the Swamp Thing. It was a Vertigo title, but I don't even know what happened in it. But I think when Jeff Lemire had Animal Man and Scott Snyder had Swamp Thing, oh yeah, Green Hill.
Yeah, this is what you were thinking of, the Jeff Lemire. Yeah,
that's what I was
great. Yeah.
And I want to comment on the whole reason I have DC Infinite, which we've talked about a lot on this show, is because I got the DC Universe app to watch the shows that came out. Swamp Thing,
Yep.
Titans, Doom Patrol, Stargirl, Harley Quinn. That's the whole reason I got the app. And I think Swamp Thing was the first thing that basically the first casualty of what became what we now know as Max. Now we went from DC Universe to HBO Max to now Max. That was the first. That was the early casualty in the war. I promise you.
That was a mystery, man. Like that cancellation, because it got canceled after 2 episodes.
They were trying to save money.
I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world. Why not just wait until the season is over and then announce your cancellation, even if you know it's coming? Like, God Almighty, didn't know they made one. I'm at the upcoming one under gun. Oh no, wait, wait. So, are you talking about the DC Universe show that came out in 2018? I think.
Yeah,
if not,
that's what I'm talking about.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not talking. I'm talking to Michael Feeney. So if you haven't checked that out,
yeah. I mean,
I don't
DC.
know.
It's on Max now because HBO has merged with Discovery to become Max now, so it's on Max. You can find it there. You better look at it quick because they quick to take stuff off nowadays, even though you pay for it.
They put it on CW, but obviously they had to tone it down.
Nah, man, that show was good.
That show was perfect.
But it was expensive. Even though they were getting these tax credits to shoot it like North, because at that point AT&T owned DC or whatever, Warner Brothers, something like that. And they were like, "Yep, that's too expensive for us."
Yeah, well, AT&T came along and they were like, "Why do y'all have a DC app? Why don't we just make an app to have everything?" Like it was kind of, you can see the difference in management with all that going on. But yeah, to answer your question, Michael Feeney, if you haven't read Swamp Thing, you can.
Oh no, did he freeze again? He froze at the end of the show. Is he gonna unfreeze and come back in? I don't know. Well, we'll give it a couple minutes. We were getting ready to end soon anyway, so I'll see if Ruben comes back in to say bye. But I want to thank everybody who's hung in here with us. Me and Ruben, we always have a good time chopping up about comic books and stuff like that. He puts me on stuff, I put him on stuff. That's how it should be. And anybody wants, y'all put your stuff in the chat. We've recognized that. That's what I like about the House of Nerd, man. Everybody, no matter what part of nerddom you're in, we got a place for you here. Anime, comic books. Oh, he dropped out. Let's see if he comes back in. Anime, comic books, gaming, RPG, sci-fi, cosplay. Oh, he's coming back in. Let me put him in real quick. You're going out at the end.
But that's okay. It's probably time to wrap up. So, but I didn't want to just like leave you hanging. But yeah, you ready to sign off, or do you have anything else?
Yeah, I'm ready to sign out. So anything you want to say? Closing shots before we sign off.
No, I feel like last time we plugged in a whole lot of stuff. So I feel like we've plugged DC Universe without even trying.
They didn't offer us a check. Is what you saying?
Copper Drop. If y'all haven't read it, City Boy was great. Excellent. Number 1. It's on DCU. It might only be on the Infinite, but just check it out. It's a great book, guys.
Yes, City Boy. It's on DC. It's on the Infinite. Yeah, it is. That's
so you have the because you don't have the Ultra, so you
Yeah.
So if you have the DCU subscription, check it out. But buy it physically, collect it. The covers are great. The art's great. This is a great story. Yeah, it's about it. This week I'm picking up Detective Comics and the Milestone books, so looking forward to those. So keep reading, guys. And
I'm happy you told me about the Milestone books. I didn't. I promise you, I don't look until I get to the store. No. League of Comic Geeks is when I pull up when I get to the store. What am I missing?
Lost you.
He lost me.
But that's okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take us out then. Appreciate y'all.
There you are. Okay. We're ready to sign off.
Yep. Go ahead and take us out.
All right. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Great Sunday. And happy Memorial Day. Peace.